Hello, everybody. I'm glad you're all here. You've been a wonderful crowd so far, and we've had a great time casting for you as well. Hopefully, that will continue with this next matchup, which is the upper bracket final. And it is always brought to you by me, Kriidy, and of course, Max Formal as well. Now, it is alternate aTTaX versus HOMYNO TSUN. They did play day 1, and it was a 4-0. So it was play day 1. But it's, if you are a betting man, I feel like alternate aTTaX is a very scary opponent to even fathom really going up against.
They've just been so good. Like, from start to finish, we were kind of talking about it ahead of time. Like, I see a world where this alternate aTTaX, you can even put them in the Grand League, and I think they take a game or two off some of the teams more towards the bottom end of that ladder. I mean, they have just been performing, to put it mildly. So I am worried as we gear up for this, but you never know. I mean, from what you were saying, HOMYNO TSUN, they've been improving their form as well. They finished the season strong. Maybe they can do something here, but to take not one but 2 best of 7s off of this team, I don't know, man.
Well, it's gonna have to be sort of a first for a lot of teams here, because as you said, alternate aTTaX went for a clean sweep pretty much of the season. So now it is HOMYNO TSUN. Of course, I have like I already mentioned this while we were waiting for coming back from the break. I have a soft spot for Feet because I know what the man is capable of as well. Like, man was doing insane stuff in stage 1, and the reason why HOMYNO TSUN was very far up in front in that stage as well. But sort of similar to Pack as well. He had a really slow start. But now they are both getting into it. They're getting a lot faster, a lot more consistent. And Enner, to be honest, has been looking really convincing. Oh, everything's considered. Will it be enough for alternate aTTaX? Is the question. Now that begs the question here.
Yeah, that's a tough question. It's a tough question to answer until we obviously get driving. But yeah, again, educated guesses. Looking like it would probably go to our favorites in this one. Alternate aTTaX should be enough. HOMYNO TSUN, though. We'll see. I mean, draft obviously going to be super, super important. I'm kind of curious which direction they're going to go. I don't know. Like, let's put you in the coach position, okay? You want to take down alternate aTTaX. What tracks are you trying to focus on?
I mean, you got to focus on the tracks that you're strongest on. I mean, at this point, it's very hard to really compete on maps that are going to be good because they have really, for example, speed. I don't know why, but for some reason, alternate aTTaX loves that. And also sinuous. Those are the 2 maps that a lot of teams don't play, but they are the ones to pick it. So already it puts you at a disadvantage on 2 maps. And the rest of the maps are very pace heavy as well. You take Pool, you take all of the other maps, Grip as well, similarly to as well. I mean, you're sort of against the wall. I'd say, like, if you're a HOMYNO TSUN, just focus on the maps you're good on. Take it to a decider map and, you know, let the best man win or best team win in the end. You got to secure your map picks at least to give alternate aTTaX a run for their money, to be honest.
Well, we'll see which direction they go. If HOMYNO TSUN do find a way to get into it, our draft should be starting relatively soon, I do believe, as it should be about less than a minute away from getting into it. I'm excited for it. Again, though, because of the seeding, alternate aTTaX will get priority with like that first map pick, something that we saw. Well, it kind of didn't really work out at all, did it, last round? Like, it didn't work for Exalty, did it?
I mean, it works, but then again, you sort of lean yourself into the fact that you're the one picking the map, so the other team sort of can already expect what you're gonna go for. So, sort of preparation work can go into that as well. So it does leave, red team with some strategical advantages, but that's always not a given. But with alternate aTTaX, it's gonna need a lot more than that. But we'll have to wait and see how things will go. I'm sure the pick and ban will start the moment. It allows us to do a bit of more cool story bobbing. We'll see once we get into the match, sooner rather than later.
Story time. Story time. Tell me a story. Let's hear it.
Story time.
What story we got? Yeah.
I mean, story time? There's plenty of stories. I mean, the one story is like, you know how... you think for example, the times that I made, like the top right and things, you would expect that it is, very simple to do. Slap a Photoshop in.
Yeah.
But then there's me who's absolutely pedantic, and I'm literally like going into the screen like, is that 1 pixel off or not? And then I just adjust it, go again, adjust it, and then you end up doing 4 hours of just 2 boxes on the screen for each map. So, it's a bit of a tough one there. So, what we do for the effort here.
Yeah.
But it is, of course, next weekend. We will, of course, have should be at least all the fancy stuff is gonna be there. But you know, I don't have the utilities for that. But we do have the pick and pan. I don't have to do anything for that one. Also, I should hide the times for pool. Don't need that for now.
Oh, you say that, but you don't know. We could be going to pool first, right? Like that could be where we bring it. Let's see what is going to be our opening track. Where do we kick off this upper bracket final?
Sinuous.
Alternate attacks actually taking their time. You think it's sinuous?
Yep, I'm quite confident it will be sinuous. Because they like to be annoying. Oh, okay, never mind. Airwalk. There's a reason why I'm not the alternate attacks coach. I'm a caster, so again, I'm just throwing in ideas here at this point. Clearly, sinuous is not on the chopping block for the day. But to give a bit of insight as well, this is going to be best of sevens. We will have Frosty by alternate attacks. Okay, so definitely Frosty's on the table today. But it will be 2 best of sevens if we need a best of 1 decider again. And the good news is, if you lose this match, you're just gonna go into the lower brackets. You know, there is ups to losing this one, I guess. But if you do win, you have secured a grand final and a top 2. So you know, we pick your poison basically.
I mean, look, and even in that lower bracket as well, it's not like you're fighting for 4th. You're still guaranteed a top 3 finish overall. Like, you're still kind of waiting to see who you'll be up against, be it Orcs, BS Plus, or Sprout at this stage, as the picks do finish. And, I mean, look, we did eventually see Sinuous, all right, but it was actually taken by HOMYNO TSUN at the end. So that's a little bit surprising, but it is what it is. And what it is going to be the start of our upper bracket final, a chance to go to that top 2 between these two teams. And I mean, the alternate attacks, they've been attacking this Challenger League. They have been undefeated. In fact, they haven't even gone to a map 7 up until this point. So heavy favorites, but that just means when the upset happens, it's that much more magical.
Yeah, but again, as we said, there is a lot to unpack here, and it is going to be an uphill battle for HOMYNO TSUN. Of course, they have had, they didn't have a good start against them in play day 1, but that was a long while ago, and we've seen a lot of things change throughout it. So we're going to go into fresh in mind, you know, and we'll see what happens. But for now, of course, we have Airwalk to start us off. Now, on paper, it should be, well, if you are a betting man, you would put pretty much 4-0 for alternate attacks. I'm gonna be that guy. It's most likely gonna be that affair, but I feel like Feed has the utilities to do so, and the HOMYNO TSUN are definitely not gonna be a pushover, I feel like. But let's see what we're gonna get. Life is a box of chocolate, isn't it, Max?
It is. Thank you, Gump. But do you go 8-0? Like, do you double down and say 4-0, 4-0? Because I don't think that happens. I think we're going to finish this off more something along the lines of the 8-2 or the 8-3 range. Actually, no, not 8-3. I think it's going to be 8-2 when it's all said and done. I don't know if it's going to be 2 4-0s or 2 4-1s, or like a 4-0, 4-2 or 2 4-1s, but we will see. Obviously, you know, heavy favorites, alternate attacks. We are live, by the way. This is it. This is the winner's final. You are watching in this matchup. One of these two teams going grand final, and out of the gate right now, again, alternate attacks, they just look so smooth through these first parts of the track.
Yes, indeed. I mean, alternate attacks have picked this map for a reason, and HOMYNO TSUN is not far behind. They are clearly in the mix. But as always, the classical line, it seems it's going to come down to the identity, but Ener and Feed are not far behind, only a 10th behind, as Feed has to release. I feel like he wasn't really comfortable with that line and had to really save it to make through it. So it is Ener who can upset the team up front at the moment. But it seems that alternate attacks want and none of it. They only want the ace, and that is exactly what is going to happen with a 108-9 alternate attack. Start this match with a comfortable ace, and that is exactly, I think, what they were looking for.
Yeah, very clean start for the alternate attack side, everyone. Kind of just like, okay, well, maybe not the upset straight away, but still early days, obviously, that first track. And again, going through some of the past results for these teams, it should be worth noting alternate attacks undefeated at Airwalk. 6 times they've gone to this track, 6 times they've won it. In comparison to HOMYNO TSUN, who only has that 50% win rate, but they haven't had much time on this track. What's crazy, though, is when you look at the average times between this team, HOMYNO TSUN actually is pretty fast. Maybe that could be that little bit of less experience. But the fastest times, I mean, Skandir has half a second over Feed. So it does feel very blue side favored.
Well, that seems to be the case as well. Well, there's a reason why Skandir also holds the Challenger League record here. So, you know, put your eggs in one basket, and it seems that for Skandir that has been quite fruitful. But currently, Enner is the one contesting them, but again, has to release, knows he's going to hit the pole. So it puts alternate attacks in an ace position to take this once again. I mean, looking pretty good. Skandir and Vosal both set up quite comfortably. Vosal does have to respawn.
Ooh.
So there is a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. Skandir does finish. Where is Vosal? Well, far enough behind that Feed is able to come in and take the draw.
Yeah, so not the start that alternate attacks was looking for in that second round, although they still draw it. They still have that 3-point lead. Definitely not panic just yet, and still waiting to see a clean run from Feed. The driver you kind of called out as being the one to watch out for. Slow start today. Going to be a long one, though. Again, a lot of tracks still to catch up, and I imagine just like we saw in that last round with Link, Feed will get warmed up, hopefully a little bit sooner than what we saw before, and Vosal awkward out of the start in this one. This could be a chance again for HOMYNO TSUN to maybe get something away from alternate attacks.
Yes, indeed. And you did say that, I do believe, if I remember you saying, Feed has a, compared to Skandir, for example, has a very slow average time. So it might also prove to be the fact that Feed is, you know, not an airwalk enjoyer, you know. It's not in the airwalk enjoyer community. Maybe some other maps do favor him quite a lot more. But again, as said, he's in the wall. Yeah, I take it still the same way. That's pure mud for him still. So Enner is the one to deny.
He's in the airwalk hater community, I think, so far. That's like this round is anything to go by. Definitely one that Feed is going to want to forget. Although last time we did see struggles from alternate attacks at the end. This time they play it safe. They get the round win. 4 points away from taking the first track.
Yep, that's a good time as well. 0.5, a decent time. All things considered for a round's time, that is an acceptable and a very good time as well. 0.2 off of the Challenger League record. I do like the fact that in the start, Vosal is the only one that goes right, you know. Everybody usually says left is always faster chatting, but Vosal is like, nope, clearly I'm the one that knocks on this map, and he knocks the right way, as he is currently in second position as was second position, and back to second now again. So, but we see Enner has fallen a fair bit behind.
Yeah, but Feed looking a lot cleaner this time around, but will it be enough? Again, if you want to get ahead of alternate attacks, you've got to take some risks somewhere. This team just does not make mistakes, and it really forces you to try to beat them on pace. As Feed is going to be going more of that inside line. Maybe they actually have it over Vosal and Skandir, who goes high and looks a little awkward. Both of the other two starting to catch the front runner. Feed staying right on it. Into that identity we go. As Vosal, I thought, slid out, actually was able to break themselves right back in, and here just hoping for that mistake. Although, when everyone's tied, they all finish in different places through these jumps. We'll see if that's going to be the case again. Feed wants to go as low as possible, actually hit it quite early, and you can see he got launched super far, bounces off the grandstand, and gives the win of the round over to alternate attacks.
Oh, that was a bit lucky. That could have been an ace, of course. The spectators in the stand can do a sigh of relief. They happy that Feed missed them there, but for now at least it's looking to be an 8-3. Well, it is an 8-3, and one victory away for alternate attacks to take a track point and move quite comfortably onto the second maps, which would be off-road. But of course, again, it's not over until you cross the finish line, so we'll have to see if HOMYNO TSUN can do anything different here. I mean, they're always in the mix, but it's the ending where alternate attacks are just pivotal and really cutthroat, to be honest.
How cheap do you think those tickets are at the end of the track, right, for the spectators coming in? Because, yeah, you get to see the finish, that's cool and all, but I feel like there's a high % chance that a car is just going to land on you.
You have to pay me to be there, to be honest. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah,
I don't even have to pay for those seats. I feel like if you want me to be in that stand, you really have to pay me a quite substantial amount of money to sit in that
general
stand.
Admittance. Yeah, fair enough. Well, I mean, they're going to be in for a view for another close finish, because right now, HOMYNO TSUN, they actually had a position for the ace until Vosal took the inside line, and even Skandir right up with this. This alternate attack stealing away. Skandir's launch was a little bit awkward, a little bit wide coming across. It is going to be a draw, so HOMYNO TSUN live to fight another day, at least on this airwalk track.
Yep, it is indeed a score that keeps on going, but HOMYNO TSUN now need 2 aces to bring this to their own track point win. And alternate attacks, I mean, they've had constantly somebody on second position minimum, so it's looking to be quite an uphill battle here for HOMYNO TSUN. They have to pull in some of the best rounds and hope that alternate attacks, well, in this heat, has one of their computers completely melt down. Maybe for one round, or controller turns off, keyboard malfunctions, something, and it seems that alternate attacks clearly are cool, calm, and collected. Speed is the one that is trailing behind, and Enner is, well, even if he gets first position, a draw is more than enough for alternate attacks.
Yeah, Feed just having a track they would like to forget, realistically. A lot of mistakes, a rough start, definitely not one of their strong suits, and alternate attacks, I think, very aware of the positioning right now. They don't need to push, they don't need to go too crazy, or they don't care, and they just push regardless. I mean, Scandir looking pretty good going into the identity. Wolzile will play it a little bit more conservative, and unless Feed can catch off 2 drivers making mistakes when neither do, well, it's going to end in a draw, but it's also going to end with alternate attacks taking the first track in this best of 7.
That is indeed, so that is a comfortable way to take the first track point. Then we move on to the next map, which will be off-road. It is, of course, going to be the pick of, it's going to be the pick of HOMYNO TSUN, and we'll have to see if there is going to be any difference. So this is the first time we'll see off-road today, actually, now that I think about it. Of course, it's less likelier to come about with a best of 5, but in a best of 7 and with these teams involved, well, off-road seems to be on the menu. And I feel like HOMYNO TSUN are quite well versed in this one. But again, it's alternate attacks that you're going up against.
Yeah, I mean, it's being well versed is only gonna get you so far, I feel like. But again, quick stat run for this track between these two sides. Alternate attacks. It is one of the few tracks they have dropped in the past. Only an 80% win rate as opposed to 100%. So, you know, that's something looking pretty nice. HOMYNO TSUN also 4 for 6. So both these teams used to winning it out. The faster individual time, though, historically has gone to Feed with that 59.4. But when you look at the average times, again, alternate attacks as a team have been that little bit faster. In fact, they have one of the fastest, they have the fastest average times out of all the teams on this track as well. I feel like that's a recurring theme. So if HOMYNO TSUN is going to win this, they're going to need to find that consistency up there with some of their best times.
Yeah, that is indeed so. And I still cannot believe the fact that Mime still holds the world record on this track. We've gone through Challenger, Grand League, throughout thick and thin. Mime, as a token of gratitude, everybody's allowing him to keep that world record on off-road. But it seems that I feel like it will drop. It has to drop eventually, to be honest. Like, it's been standing for so long, and I feel like at some point it's gonna drop. But will it be today? Well, we'll have to see. At least for now, it's looked like HOMYNO TSUN, well, they're gonna come in quite hot and spicy. Speed will have more speed, but Wolzile is able to hold on to second position. And that will be indeed a victory for HOMYNO TSUN. So, their own map pick, at least starting off to a good start. And Wolzile was able to still hold out a few points from them.
Yeah, 59.6, pretty good opening time. And I mean, it's the first round that HOMYNO TSUN has actually won, if you think about it that way. So, hey, that's positive. They didn't draw it, that they actually got a proper win. First time we've seen them in the lead. So, reasons why they've chosen this track. Granted, this one's always a weird one for me because it feels like, there's so many pitfalls compared to some of the other tracks. Like, this is one of the most dangerous ones before you even get to the identity, and then the identity of itself can be so difficult as well. I'm expecting to see more and more unforced errors as we progress, and HOMYNO TSUN, though, for the second time in a row, they're looking very good.
I mean, well, let's just say there's a reason Feed holds the world record here, and I feel like this is a track that they thoroughly enjoy as well. You can see Enner has a bit of a wider line, but a lot more confident in the execution. And Feed, I mean, he's gone. I mean, just 4/10, I mean, 6/10 at this point. Man is going on the hunt here. This could be a pretty good time, actually, I feel like. Oh
massive.
My goodness
Woo!
sake, indeed it is. It's a 0.2. I get to update the time here as well. Feed improving his own record. Holy moly bajoli. That is
By
indeed, and we get a
2/10.
live update on the top right as well. Oh my god.
Please don't take 4 hours again to do it, right? Like, we could get a little bit faster than what it was before on the update.
I mean, it's done already. Like, boom, bam. It's already
yeah,
up there
you
to 0.270 for feet.
Oh, you're so excited. You know what? I'm so happy. I'm just behind the scenes. You were going on how excited you were to bring off these times, show them off, and to get to update it. Thank you, Feed, for stepping up right there. But now, beat Mime's record. Let's do it again. Let's fix 2 boxes in one night. I mean, Feed currently sitting at P1, but Wosile will take that inside line. Scandier slides, so does Feed. Feed actually slid right on off, so alternate attacks now in the lead of this one. Wosile and Ender, they're going to be fighting it off at least until Ender bonks off a tree. So all Wosile has to do is finish, and alternate attacks, they could be looking at an ace.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic. You get a record on the board and you're 4th place. Name a more... Oh, Wosile missed the checkpoint. He has to reverse and get it again. Oh my... What is happening? Wait, Wosile is stuck on the penalty, guys. Ain't no way, man. Man is so stuck.
Oh no, Ender passes him.
Can Wosile... Wait, can Feed overtake him? He's so close. Oh no, he hits the tree.
Oh
no, it's another tree.
Right
oh
there.
No, he doesn't get it. Oh no, that's yeah. One of the rounds ever. That was a 101 ending time as well. Yeah.
Remember when I said before, you said pool was the biggest place for heartbreaks? Nah, I stand by. It's off-road. Things just happen here. All right, hearts get broken in the woods, as we saw right there. It was almost the greatest comeback ever from Feed.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I think the reason why Wosile backed because he got the actual checkpoint in front. So if he had respawned, that would have been actually detrimental. So he was like, you know what, I'm just gonna reverse. There's no really good way of saving this. He committed and got 3rd place out of it. So, you know, props to him for, you know, sticking to the plan. But for now, everybody's sticking to the script of giving us a very close round on off-road. Nothing to really separate them, but alternate attacks are the ones spearheading us into the identity.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because it was HOMYNO TSUN up until the turn right after the ice, and then all of a sudden, alternate attacks, they just did a complete swap, and getting a pass through this identity is difficult with no bonks. Give that round win to the attacks. It's an ace, and that feels almost dirty to the team in red because they all finished under 2/10 apart.
Yep, that's a classic one of those where everybody gets a good round, but you still get aced. You know, name a more iconic duo. But it is one of those rounds where...
Couple of the day.
Yep, but I mean, HOMYNO TSUN, I mean, they've been looking quite lively on this map, so I mean, it is a quite nice gap for alternate attacks, but I mean, they cannot really be like, yep, we got this now. 3 points, that's going to be an easy cruise towards another track point. I don't think that's going to be that easy on this map, that's for sure.
No, it's going to be a challenge as Scandier will try to find a way through again. This turn always causes someone trouble, and this time it is going to be Scandier, so alternate attacks won't be finding the ace unless it's a complete meltdown from the team in red. Instead, Feed and Ender, they're looking at the 1-2 themselves. Wosile's going to have to try and stick with them, but an ace to tie after getting ace before would feel so great for HOMYNO TSUN. They're going to hold it on through the identity, although Wosile's inside line has speed, won't be able to run them down, and we're tied 7 apiece.
Well, that is a perfect answer to that one. You get an ace, we get an ace. Gentleman's agreement, we're both on track point. Now, it does put the momentum on HOMYNO TSUN's side with a cleaner round there, but we'll see how they do. I mean, at the moment at least, your prediction of giving HOMYNO TSUN 1 track point is looking rather good. Clearly you're a good betting man, knows these sports a lot better than I do.
Don't curse me. Don't do it.
I mean,
why are you doing this to me, man? I had my victory speech all planned out, and now you bring it up, and look what's happening. Scandier actually kind of right up there. Actually, Feed and you're doing pretty good. Maybe you're right. Maybe I am the prophet this time around. No, don't believe. That's when the curse starts.
We'll have to wait and see if anybody is right, because at the moment, I mean, I'm trying my best not to curse this one, but it's looking to be anybody's game. It's just going to be who's willing to push the identity a bit more than the other. Feed, Scandier, Wosile, and Ender pretty much neck and neck. Let's see who's willing to go for the more inside line. Ender will give us the best point of view, and it seems that, I mean, we try as we might. Ooh, Wosile hit the tree, and that could have been an Ender's possibility, but it is a draw. 8-8 for the board.
Oh, yeah, extend it. Let's keep it going. One more time on off-road. These two teams are so evenly matched here. I love it. Still kind of scary to think that this is HOMYNO TSUN's first map selection. Like this is their peak one, and they're sitting 8-8 right now with alternate attacks. But hey, if they could take it off, that would do them so much wonders for their confidence moving forwards as we make our way through the start. Again, Feed, you called him out, and he looked a little rusty our first track, but coming into track 2, definitely finding their own again. Already has, you know, that new TMCL record, and can they do it one more time? At the moment, it actually is looking like a trouble situation for Wasile and Skandir. Each of them have fallen back. HOMYNO TSUN, they're going to take it.
Yep, that is given on a silver platter. A thing you won't see often. Both members of alternate attacks making a mistake. I mean, surely they close this out. I mean, if you somehow throw this, I mean, it's basically you might as well call it GG. But they get it over the line. It is 8-11, and the prophecy is through. Alternate attacks won't 4-0 this match, but they will be giving up that point. But in the end, then again, it doesn't matter at the scoreboard. If alternate attacks take their map picks 12-0, but then HOMYNO TSUN gets them 10-9 every time, I mean, at the end, it's still going to be 3-3, so, I mean, you know, still doesn't change that fact.
Well, until you go to the last track, and if you're alternating like that, then the last one goes 12-0.
Yeah, well, you know, once we get there, we'll cross that bridge, you know, once we get there.
Yeah, okay, fair enough, fair enough. That's how it works out. All right. Well, we'll see if we even get there, because again, it still feels pretty far away. Do we finally get that last track? I would love to go to a map 7. I would love to check out Vortex again eventually, but instead, first we got to go to Frosty, and it's been a hot minute, I feel like, since we've seen some good Frosty action.
I mean, the Challenger League record is up for grabs. Yeah. It's still over a second slower than the Grand League record. So, I mean, if there's any time to grab a free world record in Challenger League, I mean, it's this match, basically, you know? It's literally there. I mean, I might be going on a bit of a updating spree in a moment, because, but who knows? It is, of course, alternate attacks who picked it, so, you know, there's a reason why they probably did it, but can they cook some good times? Let's see.
Well, I mean, we'll see what happens. Again, like, looking at my notes right now, I mean, HOMYNO TSUN, they've been here a couple times, never won in alternate attacks. I'm pretty sure this is their first time driving this track this season.
Oh, well, that makes it even ever so more interesting for them to pick it. So clearly they chose. They were like, okay, we haven't had an attempt for world record on Frosty, so might as well go for that one. Skandir seems to be at least up to the task. HOMYNO TSUN is in a draw position at Wasile, still spinning. And still, okay, he gets across the checkpoint, but it's basically Skandir in another world.
Yeah. This is kind of crazy, actually. I mean, like, poor HOMYNO TSUN, they're tied for the most times to this track. It's only been selected 3 times during the season, right? BS Plus 2-0, and then HOMYNO TSUN 0-2. So a little bit awkward when you look at those. And then, of course, you had Exalti in this set having been here as well. But yeah, no one looking particularly confident. A 106.109 is going to be the time for Skandir. And I mean, I guess that's technically a new record.
Yep, that's a Challenger League record. Whoa, whoa, we were still a second slower than the current League one. Unlucky, Skandir. I mean, you're trying your best, you know. You're trying your best. We will quickly live update for you, ladies and gentlemen, as well. And it is a bit of a small It is a small moment there. It's nothing. It's nothing fancy, letters, man. Right. It's 1 second slower. Come on, we can do better. Come on.
One person capitalized it. I'm looking at you. Not what we need. Lower cases for that, because it has to be better to really be worthy of our admiration. As well. Goodbye, Feed. They're actually, no, sorry, that was Skandir. Goodbye, Skandir. Off to the Narnia, where hopefully they'll find a better time in the future. For now, they'll Feed that line. Tried to chase down Wasile, was pretty extreme. Couldn't really hold it. Wasile will be holding onto that pace as well. And Nira has fallen back behind Skandir as well. And this is chaos, okay? No one has really hitting this one that clean again. No one has been playing this track, it feels like.
I mean, you know, it's a classic. You know, you get a record. You have a really bad round next time. Skandir really showing it that is a legitimate curse, and you should never get a Challenger League record if you want to get a consistent round going. But so far, actually, both of them get it quite cleanly. Scandir still comes in third, Enner will be fourth, and I mean, hey, it works. It's alternate attacks in front. It doesn't matter how slowly you get there, but if it's points to you, then it's more than fine.
Yeah, well, more points, holding on to that lead right now. I have no idea how to analyze this one again. It feels like if you just don't bonk, you're going to win by default at this stage right now. No one really, every time it's only been one driver getting that clean run, I suppose. Maybe things are going to clean up here as we stick together through the first couple jumps. Against Scandir and Anir are going to be the two moving further ahead, Feed right behind. And I do feel like if, HOMYNO TSUN is going to come back into it, well, I was going to trust Feed. Instead, I watched Feed bounce on the roof alongside Scandir. So again, just keep it clean and you'll win each round, man.
I mean, it was a nice power roll, so wicked, I guess. But it's again one of those frosty rounds where there's two guys up in front. This time it's Enner and both up. Scandir, 5 seconds behind. Feed, another 5 seconds behind. So basically these two will decide sort of the order, which one is going to be the one to take it. Let's see, Volsal has been pretty good on this one. Enner has been the slower one, but it seems they are the ones that are enjoying this map more than the others. So, and close Enner, not quite. 400s, could have gotten a Challenger League record there, but better luck next round. But it is a draw, so it's I think it's gonna be one of those casual ones for this map. Don't expect much.
more chances to get the record. That's how I see it. Let's keep drawing. I actually want to see. I want to see someone get close to Pack. Okay, I want to see someone get in there. So
a second faster though.
I said close, okay?
How close
not
are we
equal,
talking?
Not better, close. All right.
How that close are we talking?
Half a second, maybe.
Well, that's very optimistic, I think.
Well, I'm an optimistic guy. What can I say? It's all sunshine and rainbows here at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Well, the sun is rising. I don't know if it's rising for another Challenger League record here. Scandir seems to be at least the guy to go for this. Enner doesn't have the best ice, and Volsal is going to be coming to third position, but he hits the wall on the drifting section, so he gives the position away to Enner. So, I mean, Scandir at least, looking to be the guy to do it. If he can, at least his name is on the top right, so it makes my life easier.
Yeah.
I just have to change a few numbers and it's good to go again. Will he be actually able to do it? We'll have to wait and see. I don't think he really needs to risk it, though.
No, but it still looks like he's got a good time brewing, and, well, it's not good enough for the record, but it's good enough to draw again, so we get to again, our drivers get to continue to practice this track. I mean, Frosty clearly, it's where the CL, out of all the tracks, probably needs the most work, and it's good to see our top two teams really grinding it out.
Yeah, but this reminds me of the Stage 1 gyroscope. Not a single one track or team chose gyroscope to be played, or at least not a single time. No gyroscope. And I feel like Frosty suffers from that as well. It has been picked, granted, they are playing this. We can clearly see they're on the track. But ice is a big detriment to a lot of players, as for now it seems that everybody is actually almost sort of made it. Enner does get across the line, so it is sort of Feed the one to hold up alternate attacks up front.
Yeah, that said, though, how well can Feed hold off Scandir, who has looked the most consistent on this track so far? And you can see Scandir taking those more inside lines, risking it that little bit more, even maintain that speed, but Feed's still in a good spot. It will come down, as per usual, to the identity to see if Volsal can hold on to P1 and if Scandir can catch Feed. We haven't seen many crazy overtakes yet, but we could see one right now. Scandir goes for it with the bonk. It will be the ace, and look at the time. There we go. We're in half a second.
Holy moly, Volsal with the time and a half. Okay, that deserves a bigger R there. There you go, Volsal getting into the mix. That is a much more respectable time. Much closer to the Grand League record. There you go, 0.4 off now. I mean, there you go. Well, you gave a half a second. He did 0.6. He overachieved for you, Max. So you definitely gotta give props to Volsal on that one.
I absolutely do. Now you deserve the capital letters, right? You can push the caps lock down after that, and alternate attacks, I mean, they're one round win away from leaving this cursed track in the dust, that is for certain. They are currently sitting in a good position for that. Wasile already has a 3-second lead, so just needs to finish clean. They'll be looking good. Scandir just has to stay ahead of Feed right now, who's going to try to hunt him down, but Feed has had a few issues, and it looks like Scandir also could be in a good spot. So alternate attacks, just stay steady, and they're going to go ahead and go up 2-1.
I mean, Wasile, back-to-back. Will it be a first, I feel like, on the Challenger League? Can he do a back-to-back world record? He's looking to be rather good here. Can he get the end? Oh, he actually does it! A back-to-back Challenger League record, man. It actually cooks it. Not by much, but he actually gets it done.
We needed it. Hey, you know what? We said that we were going to see some records, and we're going to be constantly updating. Till the end, it does come through. Good job, Wasile. Good job, alternate attacks. They take the lead in this series now 2-1. And I mean, hey, I have a feeling we're going to be seeing Frosty again, you know, come next BO7 as well, come that next set, if alternate attacks is popping off records like that.
I mean, if that feels good, you know, that's redemption for Challenger League. You know, that time looked absolutely horrendous every time some teams came to Frosty. Now it looks respectable. You know, you can now look at it and be like, yeah, that is at least somewhat of a decent Challenger League time. Granted, there's only 2 of them, 2.4s. The rest are 0.6s, but we'll gloss over that fact. You know, the time at the top is what matters. Just don't look at the overall times. But for now, we're back on pool, and it is a HOMYNO TSUN pick, and it is a much more technical map, which I feel like will favor Feed and Enter a lot more than you would Frosty with Ice. And we see Scandir having a really bad start, already 7 seconds behind. So, I mean, also all the things to do, but he seems to be the man on mission today. Can he do another one? I mean, another one would be quite nice, I'd say. But can he pull? Can he actually beat Massa though? That's the more question. Well, he has to beat Panda first.
Yeah, so there's a, you know, at this stage, should just be focusing on beating Indir and Feed in this round, because don't want to start off the pool getting aced. That is an awkward time, as they are going to be trying to fight their way through, getting close and into the identity. We've seen so many people be able to come back because of mistakes through that first turn, like Indir almost made. They're able to recover somewhat, but you can see clearly the momentum favoring Wasile as close to the cube as they can. How deep can they go for this last 9? They get 1. They don't get 2. They save the ace, but HOMYNO TSUN takes the first round.
Yeah, but you say that Enter has a bit of a struggle. That is actually the line that he always goes for. That is, he does. It's not like he has a bad entry into it. That is exactly Enter every single time he goes into that identity. That is exactly how he does it as well. So he's the only one who goes for it like consistently. He doesn't really favor that drifting setup that everybody else is doing. So it does lose him time, but I mean, execution-wise,
so he has
it does
struggle
get
with
results.
adaptation.
Yeah, it gets results.
Does it? Just a pass. Like, we'll see.
Well,
you're
gonna see. He's gonna do it again. I promise you, he's gonna do it again.
I trust you. He'll do it again, but it's the results I'm questioning after what we just saw.
Are you driving in this Challenger League upper bracket final, Max?
No.
Clearly. So I feel like Enter knows his stuff. Feed maybe needs to go back to the drawing board for the next round.
Yeah, I'm just saying that attitude wouldn't fly in the hard streets of Silver, okay?
I mean, you know, at the end of the day, if it works, why fix it? You see, he goes for it again. Okay, this time it doesn't really work. Clearly, he really needs to learn that drift line. But alternate attacks are both hitting the cube, and Enter somehow is back in action. But he still gets the round. Oh, God. That went a bit closer than it should have been.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes the conservative line, hey, if Enter's not hitting the cube and alternate attacks are, I will take that back. And if you can get those round wins. But for right now, an ace for the blue side. Once again, in the lead on this one. And we'll see how our team in red can start to bring it back. Early days, though, Pool. I guess it really, this is a strange one to me. It out of all of the identity decides it tracks, unless you drive into the checkpoint like Scandir does, this one feels like the most frequent, where it all comes down to those last 3 turns.
I mean, that's exactly what we want, and that's how you get your heart broken every time somebody hits a cube when they clearly are getting an ace, which we are seeing at the moment. So surely we're not gonna have a cube incident, and they're gonna get a clean ace without any issues. Now we've set that into motion. Let's see how Vosal will do, and can he actually deny any points from HOMYNO TSUN? Well, take it away, Max. I've set you up quite nicely.
Yeah, it depends on what the line Anir takes, and again, it's going to go super, super low and lose a bit of speed through the second turn, but I think their lead was enough. I think they should be able to hold it. Here's the cube. Anir again with that tight line looks good. It's actually Feed who concedes it, so you know what? Credit right back. Anir makes it work, wins the round. Wusile does snipe Feed though, so there's no ace, and alternate attacks will hold on to their lead by 1 point.
Yep, that is indeed. So Feed does have a bit of his line into that end was a bit too far, and he wasn't able to avoid that block on the left side, so did clip it as he was coming into that final section of the identity, allowing Vosal to come in into second position. But now it is still a close affair. Again, we have to remind this is HOMYNO TSUN pick, and I feel like the only way HOMYNO TSUN are going to give a really solid battle against alternate attacks, they have to take these rounds when they matter. It was a perfect opportunity to take another ace. Enner is now the one that is trailing behind, so it is up to Feed to do it. But he's not the one who employs the safe line. He's definitely the man that goes full out on this one. But let's see if Vosal and Scandi are able to put up the fight and actually dethrone Feed up at front. Or will it be a draw for this round?
We'll see. Scandier and Wusile are so close. I feel like one of them could get them because, again, alternate attacks, they have looked a little bit stronger through the identity. You can see right there, Feed immediately drops the 2 position. Their line just lost all of that speed, and all of a sudden, it's a disaster for the team in red. Last turn's not going to bring it back. Another ace for alternate attacks, and they're 1 round win away from going on to set point.
That is indeed so. Of course, you say that the red team is doing. Of course, we have the red team on blue side and the blue team on the red side. So, you know, ignore that part, of course. Always a nice thing to have when your blue cars are with red names and the red cars are with blue names. But, you know, they should have gotten different seats, you know. That's on their thing. Or get a better skin that matches a color. So, oh, but for now, Vosal has a bit of a tumble, and it allows HOMYNO TSUN to be in another ace position.
You made me question my sanity right there. I was just like, what is going on? Are the names wrong? Have we been calling the wrong teams the wrong way this entire time? Don't give me panic attacks like that, all right? That's not fun. Not fun for anyone, except for maybe the chat who can laugh at me for being silly. But for HOMYNO TSUN, this is a much better showing right now. They have P1 and 2, but they've had it in this position in the past, and I feel like every single time we get into that identity and someone slips up,
but it's so close, and this time Enner still goes for that line. It works. He's equal with Feed, but they have to execute this final turn. But that checkpoint is a bit closer on that mirror than it first seemed to be. Feed comes in first, but this only allows for Vosal to come in for the draw.
Oh!
It is a good time, but yeah, it's 9-5, and now it's only aces. Otherwise, it's GG for alternate attacks to take another track point.
This is going to be a very difficult round, I feel like. And again, after this, we're going on to Grip as well. And I'm not sure I like HOMYNO TSUN's chances on that next track. Feels must win for them, but to get 2 aces in a row, such a difficult ask. And again, I'm not even going to get excited when they have the lead going through these initial checkpoints because they haven't shown that consistency through the identity. And that's where it's all been coming down to. Maybe they can right this sinking ship. I mean, there's a lot of water already that you're going to have to get off board.
I mean, currently the boat is definitely having a bit of an alarm at the moment, but it can be still saved and salvaged. They do need this ace because any other result than alternate attacks will be very comfortably enjoying another track point. But again, similar position. Everybody's neck and neck as we go into the identity. Who's willing to push it a bit more? Vosal goes absolutely bananas there. Full speed ahead. Scandi hits the corner. Bonk. So it is up to Vosal to do this, but Feed hits the corner as well. The possibility was there, but Vosal doesn't get Enner. But the chance was there. But both drive a 0.3 in the end as well. So I mean, Feed, he could have tried, but he would have needed to drive faster than a lot of the rounds on this map. But track point for alternate attacks, 3-1, and Grip is next.
I appreciate how you worded that. Feed, yeah, he could have tried, but he didn't drive faster. That's low-key toxic from the player you shouted out. I think he was trying
that's
very
quite
hard.
An obvious thing, you know, drive faster, win match.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that should be a strategy for every team. Drive fast,
So
win
clearly
match.
you're just not trying hard enough if you're not driving fast enough. That's how it plays. And you know what? I stand by it. Try harder, Feed. All right, this is it. This is set point against you. And if you can't bring it back on this grip round, well, then I'm sorry. You're going to be a set down already against our #1 undefeated seed.
Yeah, but currently we have a tactical being called out at the moment. So it is currently a bit of thought for wear here at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see. I cannot check which team, of course, can do it because I try to be a nice guy and hide the in-game chat. Of course, I could be sneaky and just quickly switch to another point of view and quickly check in-game. But it is a tactical timeout that has been called. I feel like it's a good time to do so. Unless you know which team it was, then enlighten me.
No, all I saw was SRK right timeout granted, so I didn't actually see who dropped it.
Well, we are as clueless as everybody in chat. We all know it was a tactical. Will it change anything?
Let's assume.
Let's see.
I would assume it's HOMYNO TSUN, right? They're the one who are down
so,
set point. Yeah, like that would be typically who takes timeouts in these situations, but you never know. Either way, Grip kicking us off, and I'm excited for this one for sure because it could be that set point going over to alternate attacks. Now again, coming into this, just a quick little history lesson. Alternate attacks 2 for 3 during the course of the season, found themselves winning more often than not, and unfortunately for our friends in red, 0-2, never been able to get a victory on this track.
Well, and they have one of the most formidable opponents to take that first win on this map as well. But it is Enner who has been trailing quite a bit at the moment, so it is up to Feed to have a bit of a hop and skip and give up most likely an ace away to alternate attacks. I mean, just water. That's a water moment right there.
Yep, water giveth, water taketh. Water never really giveth, it kind of only taketh. And right now, alternate attacks is going to taketh this aceth as they come across 1 and 2 considerable times. And that was actually, if I'm not mistaken, a new record.
Don't jump the gun.
No, it's not. Wait, that's off by a second.
It is a 101 that we are looking for. A 102 is a quite a slow round for Grip.
I thought
Dumping the trigger there.
At the points. I was looking at the points. I was super excited, and now I'm disappointed, and everything is awful.
I mean, the reality has to be checked here. You know, we can always be happy. I mean, to be honest, there's been plenty of cases. Everybody has fallen into that trap. To be honest,
go back to Frosty. Then we can get records again.
I mean, it's possible. I feel like both of these teams have the tools and the capabilities to pull out sometimes, but I feel like if you're alternate attacks and you see that you won an ace with that round, you don't really feel like you have to push, to be honest. Because Skandir is, of course, now a fair bit behind, and so is Feed. Somehow keeps it on the track. Well, he's for last anyway. Skandir is overtaking him. So it is Vosal and Enner up in front. Trying to salvage some points here for HOMYNO TSUN Enner as he falls off. Going rather well, I must admit. Going rather well.
We should just be back at Frosty because I mean it's a similar level of quality this round that we saw at the start of Frosty right there. When it's all said and done, though, can't discredit what Vosal was able to do. Very strong showing, 102.0. Another round win for alternate attacks and another step closer to the first set victory.
Yeah, well, if you were any other team, you would be looking at Grip at the moment and would say like, yeah, alternate attacks is not looking so good at the moment on Grip, but at the same time, they haven't really been needing to push for fast times. We haven't seen a single 101 so far. It's been 102s so far. So HOMYNO TSUN, I mean, if they really want to give alternate attacks a contest here, they have to get the ball rolling. And so far, everybody making the start, so the snowball is slowly falling. But how far will it go? We'll have to see as we progress through the entire track.
I'm not sure it's that slow right now. It kind of feels like it's an avalanche of brewing quite quickly against the HOMYNO TSUN side. But you know what? Was it a controlled avalanche? Did they stick some dynamite? Maybe, because we just saw both members of alternate attacks just get blown off the track right there. So Fair enough. The secret sabotage working in favor of the team in red, and now with the clean finish, they should be getting this ace.
I mean, well, you gave a good analogy there. An avalanche. Yep, that was an avalanche of misfortune for alternate attacks as they allow for the ace to come in for HOMYNO TSUN. I mean, a perfect timing, I would say. That is a good, perfect timing moment there. But for now, it allows for HOMYNO TSUN to close that gap down again and puts a bit more pressure on alternate attacks, which shouldn't have been. But maybe that tactical timeout has worked a bit of wonders. But given what we've seen so far, I feel like both teams are at the moment getting into the depths. I mean, for alternate attacks, this is new territory. When was the last time they saw map number 5? Let's be honest here. So it's really uncomfortable for them to be this far, to be honest.
That's true. It's been nearly a month, I feel like, since we've been here. They finished off the season super strong with a couple clean sweeps, so we'll be curious. You know, maybe they're in their own heads a little bit. Granted, they still have the lead, and I find it interesting that they both kind of bonked off the track at the exact same position that last round. That was pretty cool, so you can't say that they're not in sync with each other. Well, now looking to get themselves right back into that ace position. Wasyle's going to need a strong showing in this identity feed as well. A little bit behind because Skandira's just been inching further and further ahead. All four so close. Wasyle saves the car, but won't save the time. In fact, it's going to be a draw. 101.7, fastest time I think so far in this game, but still not close to the record.
Yeah, it could have been rather good for HOMYNO TSUN, where they were really close to a victory here. Of course, for now it is another draw, a classic, as we always love to see it. But it was a really good round as well in the end. But Skandir was just able to get a bit more speed and able to hold off HOMYNO TSUN on the line. But it shows both of these teams are not fallible, and Wasyle having a mistake at the transition part of that quarter pipe jump allows for another opportunity for HOMYNO TSUN. Granted, they are almost 3/10 behind Skandir, but feed is rapidly closing, so everything to still play for, and a victory would tie them to the 7-7.
Yeah, it's actually looking pretty good right now, except for the fact that Skandir has been able to pull ahead. Feed tries to stay with them, but slides out! And that's not going to be too great. In fact, Wasyle will get ahead of Feed as well, so now alternate attacks a chance to put themselves at set point unless Anir can do something really crazy. I don't think it's going to happen. Skandir crosses P1. Anir right behind. Wasyle comes across in third. Feed, another mistake. Another fourth place, and now alternate attacks, 1 round win away.
Yeah, it is going to be 8-6, and it's a nice victory, you know. Order in victory for alternate attacks for match point and track point, coming in hot it seems, but they still have to make it count. HOMYNO TSUN clearly shows that they are able to thwart some of the plans here, and alternate attacks are not going to be any good here, as Enner is the one that is gonna give us a good point of view of everybody, as everybody does get it nicely. Also does get a bit of a slower clip there, I feel like, does slow down a bit, or doesn't get the exit out of it with the speed that he wanted to. But looking good for everybody involved, as I can't even finish my sentence and Feed is out of it. So it is up to Enner to hold out for the draw.
See what Enner can do. It is Enner, not Anir, so apologies, I think, for calling them wrong the entire time we've been here. But is what it is, and what it is me being a dum-dum. But let's see what Enner can do. Coming through these last couple turns is going to get ahead of Wasyle. Only has to get ahead of one more. Maybe they can keep it up. The power of the right pronunciation. Not enough to save them this time around. They fall short. Alternate attacks take the first set. And HOMYNO TSUN back to the drawing board.
Yep, that is a 4-1 lead. Well, you called it at least. You know, you said that that's one track point done. You did say they were going to get another one. But for now, at least, alternate attacks looking quite supreme, taking the first set. And that will be, at least for now, well, as you said, back to the drawing board. There isn't really much you can go from there. I mean, there are positives out there. They took the track. Off-road went well for them. Grip, surprisingly, went well as well, sort of ish. Frosty, throw that in a bin. Never again. But I don't think they have much of a choice because they have to ban speed. Or go for that, because alternate attacks really love that map. So, you know, pick your poison. HOMYNO TSUN, which one will it be?
I think we're going to be going back to Frosty. I'm excited. I want more of it. That was the first taste. It was beautiful. It was chaotic. It was exactly what you want to see. Let's go back to Frosty, man. I'm feeling it.
Well, we'll have to see what we'll get. But for now, we'll go on a short break. Once we come back, we'll see if alternate decks are going to be able to close out and secure a grand final position. Or does HOMYNO TSUN Tactical Timeout have more to it than meets the eye? But for now, quick break, and we'll be right back. Hello, once again, a short break for us. Good hydration for everybody, hopefully. Keep yourself hydrated.
Yep.
That's a good one right there. Hopefully you've been enjoying it so far, and hopefully you've been enjoying it as well, Max. You know, everybody's keeping it hydrated. It's important. I've gone through a lot of water today, but there's a reason for that as well. You know, you cannot keep this voice up, otherwise I would be an old man who's been doing too many cigarettes.
Yeah, APAC really, you know, living close to that region, I understand it gets you hypey, it gets you excited, so you gotta stay as hydrated as possible. But yeah, I'm hoping our players are staying hydrated as well. I mean, we could be going back to the pool, that might help, but where we sit, we're waiting for what will be our last pick and ban phase here for today, especially if alternate aTTaX continue the hot streak.
Well, you say that. But of course, yes, most likely, given the odds and everything, take into account every single detail, it should be alternate aTTaX to take this set number 2 and secure the spot. However, we saw glimpses of possibilities. We saw that alternate aTTaX, once it gets deeper than map 4, maybe more valuable. Frosty, for sure, looked to be an interesting pick. I don't know whether they will change things around. I would assume that, again, it boils down to, did you feel confident on the map picks that you did? I'm sure alternate aTTaX did. Maybe Frosty, questionable. But the rest, I mean, it's HOMYNO TSUN basically. Again, same seed as Exalti were before. Did it go well, or didn't it go well enough for you, or the other team was just faster?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of everything. Can I just tick D, all of the above in that situation? Because yeah, it was sloppy. A lot of the tracks were sloppy. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There was a lot more unforced errors than I was expecting between these two, especially considering they're our top 2 seeds. But that also comes from a place, HOMYNO TSUN, they were pushing themselves. They were trying to keep up that super fast pace that alternate aTTaX so frequently hits. So yeah, you're going to be making more mistakes, and things are going to get a little chaotic. And I don't imagine that actually changing right now as we get ready for our second series. So I'm hoping for more chaos. I'm hoping for more bumps and bruises and the most close third place finish on off-road I've ever seen. I want to see that happen again. That's going to live in my mind forever. That's going to
that's how Trackmania can sometimes produce some of the most hectic and some of the most insane rounds ever imaginable. I mean, that's what we're here for as well, and hopefully more of that to come, and hopefully for HOMYNO TSUN more than one track point as well. I feel like the longer they drag it out, the better the chance they have, of course, which is a given, but we've said and alluded to this before. If they can minimum take their track picks, you know, it doesn't matter. It can be 55 to 54 for all we care. But of course, it will be a very long night then, or a very long morning for you. But if it's a win,
I would care actually if it goes that long. I would care a little bit. All right.
I'll be honest. Yes, indeed, I would have something to do actually. You know, and I need to go to bed after this as well. But for now, Big and Ban will start off. So for now, no rest for the wicked, and we start off to see what will change. Well, Airwalk to start us off-road again. It seems that we're gonna go with the same path as previous. No changes whatsoever so far.
Yep, as we're even going back to Frosty. So sorry, guy in chat, but hope you're feeling good right now because we're gonna be saying it a lot as we keep on going through. All of our picks come in, and even Control will be selected once more. But yeah, it's looking pretty similar. Airwalk into off-road, into Frosty, into Pool. Like we've seen this already. Even Grip coming through at 5. It's the exact same.
Yep. Seems that HOMYNO TSUN felt like, yep, I mean, we're going to do what we can do. And we're going to do our best. And it seems that they were confident enough that they're going to run it back and give it another shot at this one. Whether alternate aTTaX will actually allow it is a better question. But, hey, if they're confident enough to go for it, hey, who are we to question it? It seems that they are willing to give it another shot, and I'm all for it. Let's see if there's going to be any difference. I mean, Exalti almost did the same, but they went for a completely different path in map selection. Whether it will work out for HOMYNO TSUN, let's see.
I mean, Exalti had better results when that happened. So you ask who are we to question? We're the ones with the microphone, all right? They can't defend themselves, so we can question all we like. We're just never going to get an answer. I'm keen for this, though. I feel like this might backfire for HOMYNO TSUN. I feel like alternate attacks are probably going to look even stronger this second time around because any of the nerves, any of the jitters that they would have had at the start, they should be gone by this stage. They should be really starting to kind of hit the pinnacle. So we'll be curious how it all plays out as going through our warm-up one last time, about to kick off this second set. And if alternate attacks take it, guess what? We have our first team in the CL Grand Finals.
Yep, that is indeed correct. Still a long road ahead for the both teams, but which one will have the most success here? Well, we're looking to see what can HOMYNO TSUN do this time. Last time on this map, alternate attacks took it rather convincingly. Not many major mistakes made for them, so they were looking quite comfortable on this one. And but HOMYNO TSUN are more than happy to give it another go. We'll see if that works out for them. But you gotta think of it the other way around as well. HOMYNO TSUN have now been also playing this map, so you know how. Okay, Feed maybe needs another go at this one, but you know, you go through the same maps again and again. At some point, you know, alternate attacks either can get more consistent. They can't really get any faster. They're already fast, so it sort of lends it to being more advantageous for HOMYNO TSUN than alternate attacks. But I mean, I'm really clutching at draws at this point, Max. So
you are,
and the ace for alternate attacks seems to be on the board.
I mean, no, keep talking about how much Feed is going to bounce back, because if you go back to the start, be a little harsh here, but you can't get much worse. Feed really struggled on Airwalk the first time around, but Watsile is going to struggle right here, forces themselves to reset, and all of a sudden, a little bit of an opening maybe for a draw. Hey, it's not the greatest in the world, but if you're HOMYNO TSUN, you take that as an opener.
Yep, that is the round, at least for now, a draw secured. Now, granted, it was on the back of Vosa needing to respawn, went a bit too hot and spicy into the Airwalk identity, but I feel like that happened in the previous matchup they had on this map as well, and they ended up still getting it quite comfortably. So, you know, one mistake here is gonna be 3 aces afterwards. You know, you give it, and then you take an entire arm from HOMYNO TSUN apparently.
see if that will be the case. I mean, how much can alternate aTTaX take on the second round at the moment? They are sitting in those top 2 positions, but we saw mistakes at the tail end of it all. It could come through one more time. Enter. Get that inside line through the dirt, though. Wound up wide on the exit and wound up going right back into the back of the track. Feed is going to be the best chance, perhaps, to chase down Wasile. But again, with this one, it's all identity. This one has the most chaotic identity, and it's one that, unfortunately, Feed isn't really going to participate in at that same level. Here we go, over the first jump. Everyone's landing needs to be good. It is for alternate aTTaX, and it was, well, not too good for Skandir, actually. They've completely fumbled the ball. Wasile will be in first for the draw.
Yeah, Skandir, well, he had a good lineup, but I feel like his bounce from that second bumper sent him absolutely flying to Narnia. Definitely not the bounce that he was expecting there. And it means that we will get another draw for the board. And looking to be maybe not as comfortable as we first expected. I mean, maybe when you start off, you feel more confident, fresh minds, nothing really on your mind when you go into the first map of the first set, and where alternate aTTaX looked rather comfortable. But now you sort of have the prior knowledge of the previous map, and then you maybe start to think, okay, last time it went really well for us, now we're slightly struggling. It seems HOMYNO TSUN are not making it as easy as it was before. You start to overthink, or I'm just overthinking it myself, and both on Skandir just had 1 or 2 rounds that didn't go so well, and they're now gonna ace HOMYNO TSUN quite comfortably.
I don't know, because it feels like they've had 1 or 2 rounds not go their way on nearly every single track thus far. It hasn't been the cleanest performance from our #1 seed, so I think we're right to kind of say, like, hold on, are we seeing a little bit of nerves, a little bit of a playoff squirrely side? I mean, that's what you have to be hoping for sure, if you're calling for HOMYNO TSUN to kind of come back in this, going into the identity again. Feed the first one there. Last time we saw Wasile really kind of bottle the landing. This time they all come up and through, but Feed's line is so good. They'll hold on to P1, and again, we have ourselves a draw.
Yep, we keep the draws going, so it seems that they want to take as much screen time possible in this one. So we might be going in for the long haul, but usually it has been the case where alternate aTTaX all of a sudden just get a random ace out of nowhere, and then it's all back to the usual cause. But for now, HOMYNO TSUN are definitely not letting this go as easily as in the first set. They are smelling that the possibility is there. Volsa has fallen a bit behind as well. And now HOMYNO TSUN are definitely gonna give alternate aTTaX, and in this case Skandir, a run for his money, and they're looking quite well here. Volsal, you can hear the engine sound in the back, so he's literally right on the back heel of all of these players. And now we have to see if they can do any different so far. Looking good, but again, it feels like one of those rounds, isn't it? Isn't it? Identity decides it, and then but Skandir decides that he wants to hit the wall first.
Apparently, so that means Wasile is going to have to find something. I mean, they had a little bit of momentum, at least to catch up to Enter, but it's not going to be enough to catch Feed. Going to be hoping for a little bit of a mistake through the air walking. Look at Wasile's line. It was really good, but somehow Enter was able to take it back. It's an ace for HOMYNO TSUN. I don't know what they drew on that drawing board, but whatever it was the winning answer, because they have themselves the lead.
Well, it seems that we are not going to be taking this as easily as we expected, as HOMYNO TSUN is the one that is taking a lead, and at that, a lead with an ace on alternate aTTaX first pick as well. Now you start to question a bit how things will go. Feed and Enter are now showing the match is developing, the seed has been planted, and now they're feeling more and more confident. They're feeling like, yeah, we can actually do this. But alternate aTTaX, I'm sure, like, they are gonna be like, come on, man, we can do better than this. Come on, let's ace them back and be back to where we were before, But we'll have to see if that will come into fruition, as Enter and Feed are making this even more difficult than it was the first time around. Whether things will change, we'll have to see.
I mean, it's Feed, right? Feed was the one who was struggling last time we were on the airwalk. Feed this time around, arguably been the MVP so far. So I love that bounce back coming from Feed and this red side. Now, whether or not they can keep that momentum going, we will see. This time, it's actually looking like it could be an ace going the other way, unless Someone picks an absolute mammoth line going through the airwalks right now. Skandir stays right behind Wusail in air. Actually lands a little bit high. The landings were better, but no! Skandir has to reset. Another mistake from alternate attacks, and HOMYNO TSUN, they're an ace away from taking this track.
Yep, that is a 4-7 scoreline, and it's looking to be something that we didn't expect to when we got into this match, but it just shows it's not over until it's over, and you clearly see that now they're gonna go to the same maps again, which could lead to some different outcomes. They played it, they've literally warmed up in the previous set, so there's no real excuse to say, okay, we have Vortex all of a sudden, you know, we gotta get into the muscle memory of Vortex. No, they literally had the exact same 5 maps in order to come right now, so looking good for HOMYNO TSUN, and they are really putting alternate attacks through probably the biggest struggle they've had through entire season. I say they're struggling, they're still in the mix. They're pushing each other to the very limits is what I should be saying, and it's just now where you have to push a bit more than you're used to, and all of a sudden you see that wall comes ever so closer than it was before.
Yeah, this is actually a lot tighter than what I think people could have been expecting coming into this one as well. Feed looking to chase Wusail down, but Wusail's been having problems. I mean, both members of alternate attacks have had problems into the identity. Will that happen one more time? I mean, Anir is the one bringing up the rear, but has taken a lower line, tries to get under Skandir. Do they stick? And Wusail actually snipes it away from Feed at the very end. It looked like Feed was bringing it back, so the round win does go to the team in blue, but they're still not able to put it away in round 7. They still need to survive at least one more round.
Yep, alternate attacks are now 6-8. If it will be a draw, then alternate attacks are forced to ace the next round. So ideally, they would love to get a victory. I mean, an ace would be perfect. But if it's a draw, then they put themselves in the worst possible position, aka they need to get an ace afterwards. And it's been looking pretty good for HOMYNO TSUN to at least be in the mix enough that to avoid any real any aces, to be honest. So it is up to alternate attacks. Ideally, ace. Minimum, victory. Worst case scenario, draw, and you have to ace the next round.
Well, we'll see. I mean, look, you kind of expect alternate attacks to find that magic, because they've been able to do so all season long. Yet, where we sit right now, it's going to be Skandir who's going to have to pull and find that rabbit out of the hat. Maybe if they feed it, it'll do better, because that's who they're catching first. Able to move right back up into that second place. Pressure on Anir. If they can stick the landing, it still will keep HOMYNO TSUN 1 point away, unless they can get the snipe. They cannot. It was close. Instead, the round goes to alternate attacks, and we go to a big-time round 8 between these two.
Yes, well, now the circumstances are slightly different. Ace for alternate attacks wins it. Victory, overtime. A draw is a win for HOMYNO TSUN. So it is, basically they have to win this round, either to keep this going or to take the track point right in front of HOMYNO TSUN. So it's a round where if you're alternate attacks, you definitely, I emphasize, definitely do not want to be making a mistake here. So all eyes on the team of alternate attacks, because now they are on the chopping block, and in the first time ever in a position where I believe anybody has even contested their first map pick to this extent.
It's happened once.
Oh.
Exalted took 2 in Payday 3. Playday 3. No.
Oh, there you go.
They took 2. So they took the first 2, and then alternate attacks won 4 in a row and dominated. Like steamrolled those last 4. So, sometimes you can make them mad. That's a big bump though, Enter. Oh, that's not what you want to do right now. Feed has to try and stay in front of Wusail, but Wusail is going to look for that inside line until they have to adjust. The reset might cost alternate attacks everything. Skandir comes across first, and Nir forces the draw, and HOMYNO TSUN take the first track.
Oh, the unbelievable has happened. HOMYNO TSUN go in the lead in this best of 7, and on the first track as well. And Wusail needing to respawn, of course, puts them in an opportune position as we move on to off-road. And it's looking a lot better for HOMYNO TSUN all of a sudden going into off-road. Granted, it was still a close affair on this map, but if you want to be running on Steam at the moment, I mean, this is the perfect opportunity for HOMYNO TSUN to go 2-0.
It is. If they can bring it back, that would be fantastic. But if HOMYNO TSUN can steal a map off alternate attacks, who's to say it can't go the other way? So we'll see how this one plays out. And I mean, I think we all remember how sloppy Off-Road got just about, 30 minutes ago when we were here last. So I'm not convinced it's going to be easy pickings for the team in red. I think we're going to get another close one, which is what we were hoping to see. I'm so happy HOMYNO TSUN has come willing to throw down here today. I'd be mentally as prepared for the 8-0, but we got a battle, and as we kick off the first round here on Off-Road, it's a good start for Wosal, yes, but Skandir is the one who finds himself slowly slipping behind.
That is indeed the case. Now it is a case for HOMYNO TSUN to ride it all out, but Feed goes a bit too ambitious and clips the checkpoint on the inside. It is up to Enner to hold out for the draw here. Does get a bit of a bump on that grass block. Doesn't hit the big too much of a detriment. But the detriment is good enough that alternate attacks are gonna go in with a vengeance on Off-Road at the moment. They're in an ace position. And to be honest, unless they have a bit of a meeting scheduled for a Yep tree at the moment, I feel like this should be an ace secured unless there's a missed checkpoint. It doesn't look to be, so it's going to be a clean round for them. Good round indeed, and that's going to be a foot down by alternate attacks, taking an ace and really putting HOMYNO TSUN now in a bit of a predicament already to start off.
Yeah, that was not what you wanted to see, in terms of keeping momentum going forward. I mean, Enner did a good job keeping up and staying it towards the front, but Feed having the roughy, still plenty of time to bounce back. And if I recall, I mean, alternate attacks, they had an ace or two last time we were here. It was just that chaotic. So we'll see how they bounce back, what HOMYNO TSUN can do in round number 2, hoping for a bit more of a stronger performance. And right now, they are kind of showing it. But again, Off-Road, out of all the tracks, it is on the more difficult spectrum in the pre-identity phases.
Yeah, we do see Wosal does fall a bit back, not the usual suspect at the back end, but it is now Skandir who is up at front. But it seems that once HOMYNO TSUN get going, they do get going rather well. But they do have Skandir to deal with at the moment, but that is as clean of a line for HOMYNO TSUN. And it seems that basically, if you had to put out the name tags, it seems to be quite a carbon copy of what we saw in the first round. You just switch the teams around and all of a sudden it is HOMYNO TSUN who are going to be looking to get an ace here. Skandir is going to try to push here, but there is not much time to gain here. And it seems that the gap is big enough that they do take it. And basically a carbon copy, apart from Wosal being a lot closer than Feet was, it is a 3-3, and all of that ace that alternate attacks had, that is waved goodbye, vanished and gone like dust in thin air.
Yeah, or like, I don't know, the dirt on the off-road when you drive on by gets blown off and then you find rocks underneath. It's very rocky here in Australia. Look, good start, obviously, for HOMYNO TSUN to be able to bring it back, and that's got to be kind of frustrating for alternate attacks, you know what I mean? You bounce back after that round loss, get the ace feeling good, and then just get outpaced in the second round. HOMYNO TSUN, they definitely seem to have momentum in their favor in this round right now. Everyone's saying so tight, so close. Skandir really wanted that inside line. They nearly make it work. In fact, they follow it through. Made about 1/10 of a second through one turn alone.
Oh, but Wosal has to really has to let go of that section there. Does make the jump. So he's going to get 4th position. That's a Yep tree. But Skandir is the one that needs to now be in front here. It is going to be a good race with a 0.4 as well. Good times coming in at the moment. But that could have gone much worse after that Wosal's moment there. But it is a draw. 4-4 into round 4. As we look to see what we're gonna get. I mean, currently still looking good for both teams. HOMYNO TSUN, of course, would love to just get 2 aces done, dusted, next map, which is gonna be Frosty. Yeah, so we might need to forget about that fact for now. We still need to do it on off-road. But Feed is the one now trading behind. I feel like everybody's gonna dipping into the camera action today. Skandir was first round. It's Wosal, now it's Feed. Everybody's pitching in to be the camera point of view for this match.
Yeah, that's good, equal. We share responsibilities here at the CT, all right? Everyone gets their chance. Goodbye, Skandir. Awkward slide's going to see them back in P4, and now HOMYNO TSUN a chance to win this round, but they have to catch Wosal in there. It's going to have the best chance at it. Feed just that little bit further behind into the identity. I don't want any nope trees or yep trees or maybe trees. I just want no trees whatsoever. And Wasile will avoid them all, gets P1, enter P2. And it's another draw. Oh, this could be going long.
Yeah, it's one of those moments like meddling kids. There's always one alternate attacks member that always thwarts HOMYNO TSUN plans for more points. And with the 5-5 at the board at the moment, I mean, again, it shows. For now, I will say it benefits more HOMYNO TSUN position, but if alternate attacks could just, you know, keep it going, draw it out, take a random ass ace and take the track point, hey, it works. But for now, it seems that the only thing that is working is constantly having HOMYNO TSUN be at the front, one alternate attacks member with them, and then a camera point of view by one of the players.
Let's see, I mean, at the moment, watching alongside Wasile, who sees himself a little bit further back as into this ice turn, everyone will hit it clean, so HOMYNO TSUN, they're in a good spot, but Skandir always seems to have a good angle going into these identity portions of the track. Not enough to make the complete catch-up, but maybe they'll find it here. Feed, though, they're looking pretty confident in P1. Over the jump, Skandir falls further behind until they land it. Now they catch up, except it's Wasile who steals P3. That doesn't matter because it's an ace for HOMYNO TSUN, and they are now one round away from going up 2-0 for the second time ever against alternate attacks.
That is exactly what the doctor ordered. The prescription has arrived, ace on the board, and it arrives at a very good time as well. Of course, it would have been nice if that number was 7 before and goes up to 10, but now with 5-8, I mean, it's a good position because let's say alternate attacks gets a victory here. You know, a good round for them. They're at 9-7, which is a horrid score to be in. Feed in the mud, so it is actually Ener who has to get a draw out of this. Or if they get a victory out of this one, oh no. Oh, it's one of those, isn't it? It's Skandir Vosa in an ace position, and we're just gonna get an 8-8. Oh no.
Let's do it. Let's keep it dramatic. Look, that's the rule. One team aces, the other team has to respond in kind, all right? Like, it was written in the rule set, Chapter 3, Section 14B, always match the opponent's ace. A is when you get the ace, and then B is matching it. Either way, alternate attacks, they're now up. They're back and tied, and well, Feed and Enter, a round they would like to forget. And it comes down to this, unless we draw, of course, which I'm hoping for. I love draws. I want a long overtime. We haven't gotten one yet.
Yeah, we basically got one overtime, which was ended in 1 round. So you know, clearly the teams are not having none of it. Overtime, more like a victory for me. So now it is actually a position where if any of the teams wins, it is actually a round that is closed out. Only a draw will prolong this. So there is a bit of pressure here, and we see that alternate attacks are the ones to take the pressure at the moment. They have a really good start, so not the usual sight. It's usually HOMYNO TSUN who are in the lead. The other way around, that is Skandir in the light pole. So it is up to Wasile. If he gives away one position here, that is GG for HOMYNO TSUN to take the track point, and it seems that Feed is the one man to do it. Can he actually do it? Well, only one way to find out.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the hunt, but you're going to have to be really on point through these last couple turns in the forest. It is thick. It is hard to see the identity. So challenging, but Feed's line, it's risky. He's pushing, won't get there in time. Wasile holds on for the draw, and we go to a 9-9.
Oh boy, they are going for it as well. And again, one member of alternate attacks is able to hold it until the very end. And I feel like this has been a tall tale for HOMYNO TSUN. I mean, coulda, woulda, but always alternate attacks member in first position whenever there has been that opportunity. And now, again, a draw keeps us going. Any other result will be a track point for either of the teams. So it's again one of those rounds where one little thing that can go wrong is gonna be absolutely in the mud. But Ener is the one that will give us the perspective here, and now it is up to... Oh, but Ener clips, so it is up to Feed. He has to get first position, otherwise it's going to be a track point for alternate attacks, and after all that is done, that would be quite a heartbreak for HOMYNO TSUN. But if there's anybody to do it, I feel like Feed is the man to do it.
Perhaps could be the case, but Skandir right on Feed's tail. as they make their way into the identity. The final portions, this final jump. Scandir with momentum could be able to catch, takes a really tight line, but
he misses the
did hold on,
checkpoint!
Scandir had to reset. Now it's looking like an ace. HOMYNO TSUN, they bring it back!
Oh my god, what looked to be an absolutely a draw in this position. One misses the checkpoint and the other, I don't even know what happened to the other one, but they give the point to HOMYNO TSUN for free. And there it is. Absolutely free.
2-0. 2-0. Alternate attacks. They're not used to being in this position. It's only happened once before. And again, they came back with a vengeance. Well, now they're going to have to do it again if they want the easy road to that grand final. But where we sit at the moment, Frosty, best track in the game. Maybe an opportunity for HOMYNO TSUN to go to set point.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. If HOMYNO TSUN take this track somehow, I mean, then alternate attacks didn't have a chance in this set, to be honest. I mean, if they give Frosty away, that's gonna be really difficult because Pool is up next, and we already know that Pool can be a toss of a coin between these two teams. I'm gonna be honest, so they have to take this one because you really don't want to go into Pool just hoping that HOMYNO TSUN are not gonna be fast on it. So, you know, Vosal, maybe he can improve on the Challenger League record. I think that would be quite nice for him, you know. He did a back-to-back, so why not a few more ones? He would like to have his teammate next to him, but so far, everybody's nice and clean. And nothing really going on so far. Spinning, really good. So nothing really, a bit of various lines, but everybody gets it. He does get a clip, but it is alternate attacks in an ace position. Indeed so.
Yeah, it's good for alternate attacks right now, right? Like, you can't take that away. They got that one too, and we've seen before. They're able to put on the fat times for this one. Wusal in particular, again, the current TMCL record holder as of roughly about 30 minutes ago. But hey, it's a good record to have. And going into the identity, it looks like Wusal could be actually pushing for another one right now. That said, Ender has got in front of Scandir, so will steal the ace away. In fact, it's a draw because Scandir fumbles the end. So we're tied one apiece as the draws continue.
I mean, that was a clean snipe in the end. I'm not gonna lie. Scandir absolutely left in the icicles, the ice particles left in the front of his car. But, I mean, Vosal seems to be the only real person enjoying this map. Everybody else is sort of just, you know, surviving, hoping to God that they get the points, and then, you know, may the best outcome come of it. Vosal seems to be the only one really, you know, giving it a go. But, you know, Scandir, as soon as I mention the name, of course, he has to prove me wrong, as always.
Look, actually, they're still kind of right in the thick of it. But I will say this, a fun fact, right? If you finish first every single round, it's impossible for you to lose.
True, that's wise words. That should be on a board somewhere, especially for alternate attacks. I think that's their motto, you know, as they go into a lot of these matchups. You know, if one of them is first, how the hell can we ever lose?
You can't. It's mathematically impossible, and that's the thing. Like, when it comes to this track, Wasile haven't seen anything to say, yeah, they're not going to be finishing first each and every time right now, because look how far ahead they find themselves. 105.644, getting close again to the TMCL record, not quite there, but it still is a round victory for alternate attacks, and they have that lead.
I mean, yeah, that's now the issue for HOMYNO TSUN. They really need to, for either one of them to do some of the most insane times they've ever done on this map, or hope to God that Vosal has a moment. Apart from that, it's rather looking that this is a one-way street, one-way path, really. Speaking of Vosal, right on cue, thank you very much. HOMYNO TSUN will be giving you the PayPal in the mail soon. That's quite a lot of mud in that section. So yeah, it is Scandir in the mud, Enter in the mud, Feed does make it somehow. So I don't think we're gonna get a Challenger League Oh god, this is the Frosty round of all time. Oh no, this is the Frosty round we've been waiting for. Oh boy.
Can we cut to us?
Yeah, cut the tape, you saw nothing.
This round 3 never happened, unless you're Scandir, in which case
yeah, Scandir, he has a round sort of going. I don't think it will be Challenger League. I think it will be a 107 at best, I think, if at all. But yeah.
Is it what we're gonna get? No, I don't think it's.
I know it's gonna be even worse. I'm giving him too much credit there. It's gonna be a 1010 at best. Oh no, he's stuck.
Oh no!
A 1012.
At least finish clean.
No.
At least drive the car across the finish line in a straight, orderly manner. Come on.
Yep. I don't think anybody needs to know that 1012.4 probably is the slowest finishing time we've ever had on Frosty. I don't think I really need to fact check that one, but it is a draw, so you know, point to the madness, I guess.
You know, because it was a draw, can we like just petition the referee to just take away the 1 point from each? Like, just no one gets points for that round.
Oh.
There should be a limit on it.
Yeah, well, this is what happens with Frosty, you know. It is one of those maps that isn't very popular in Challenger League to begin with. It isn't also the most easiest map to execute on consistently if you haven't played it all the time. But you know, I would presume at least, you know, mechanics are down. It's just always the execution that is back to be offered. But I mean, you look at that now. If you forget what happened last round, this looks like a competitive round. You know, of course, do in mind it's half a second between everybody, but you know.
Ignore feed. Feed doesn't count.
I mean, you can just put your hand in front of it, and you can see it's a rather close race, you know. I'm spectating Enner as well, so we don't even need to think about feed for now.
Sure. We could just watch alternate aTTaX get themselves in a prime position for an ace, and 3 points away from leaving the greatest track in existence. Walsall, 105.629. Not, you know, again, getting close to the TMCL record, but I feel like they're not going to beat it unless they get challenged by somebody, and no one has really challenged them for that record yet.
I mean, it falls into the same category of reasoning. Why didn't Challenger League teams pick Gyroscope in stage 1? Proof is in the pudding. Of course, I say that, of course. We do have to keep in mind that if I were to play this track, I would probably be struggling to even get that 1.12.4 myself on a good day. But it's very hard to put this map into any contention, and it seems that this is one of those maps where you just gotta survive, drive it clean, and hopefully the other team doesn't get it any faster, as HOMYNO TSUN definitely are not gonna be fast on this one. And Skandir and Vosal do not have to do much to really take this one.
I mean, look, in situations like this, right, like, it's a lot easier for HOMYNO TSUN to kind of bounce back from a round like this, from a track like this, because when you get so thoroughly beaten, it's like, all right, yeah, mental reset. That one was never going to go our way. We're just not familiar with this track. We gave it a go. That's all well and good. It's the next track. It's Pool that the emotional energy is going to be put into, because, again, HOMYNO TSUN, if they win Pool, they're still up 3-1. They're still prime position to go to that tiebreaker round. So we'll see how it comes together. Walsall so good through that identity at the end, right? They're able to kind of snipe their teammate. It is an ace, though. It is alternate aTTaX. Right back in this 2-1 now, as HOMYNO TSUN let that one slip away.
Yeah, I think this was a good, sort of a palate cleanser. We had some really exciting rounds, and we needed a bit of a, back to reality, the gross gravity, and we're now back at the Pool. Return to normality is what it is. We'll see how things will go. Of course, last time it was a bit of a heartbreak, I would say, for HOMYNO TSUN, because they came really close to taking this track, but in the end, it came down to the wire there. So, I will say, again, like I said already before, it was pretty much, we have the wrong intro playing. I saw it.
That's okay.
I saw it.
Yeah,
we played the correct one. We have Pool. We have a technical timeout as well. So I can afford to make a mistake there. So, thank you for the players. They clearly saw that I played the wrong intro, called a tactical timeout for me. Good job. Thank you very much. Definitely didn't have a brain fart there and clicked the wrong thing.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, they have your back, right? That's what you want to see. Looking
out.
It should be worth noted, this timeout was taken by HOMYNO TSUN. They were the team that opted for the timeout, so I'm worried maybe if that was a little bit premature. I would have waited to kind of see how this one goes, on whether or not your team needed the timeout. But you know what? After that last round, thinking, yeah, we need that reset, fair enough. They took it.
And it seems that they might need another one, because currently that start is definitely not it. They're already both half a second behind. So starting off well for alternate aTTaX, who don't have to do much to really secure an ace here. We'll have to wait and see if HOMYNO TSUN can crawl their way back. A bit of time, of course, still to gain, and you never know. An incident of cube can happen in the identity, as always. But for now, looking rather comfortable for alternate attacks to start off.
Yeah, this is a pretty strong beginning for HOMYNO TSUN. I mean, they're, you know, at least they can see their opponents. But yeah, it definitely was not what they wanted. Alternate attacks. They're practically driving on the same line, 8,000 separating the two cars out in front. And as we hit the identity again, enters line, I hate it. I don't think it is the optimal one, but they try to make it work as best as they can, and they are gaining on Scandir, so maybe they have something here until they slide a little bit too much going into the final turn. So it will be the ace. Alternate attacks continuing the hot streak they find themselves in.
Yep, that is indeed so. Then again, you would say that last time it went a bit back and forth as well, and we've seen plenty of cases already where HOMYNO TSUN all of a sudden just get an ace of their own. So alternate attacks cannot really rely on these 3-0 starts. Yes, they are nice and all, but, you know, is it really comfortable at this point? I mean, you are 2-1 down. It is pool. Anything can happen. And one thing that is happening is at the moment that everybody's tightly packed and looking to give us a more competitive round than the previous one as we go into the water wheels section. Currently looking pretty good. Scandir goes for a very tight line, but I feel like he has to really compensate that for that one as Enner is right on his tail. And we'll see how things go as nothing to really separate the two.
No, it's really, really tight at the moment. I mean, Feed is looking pretty great. And there, though, is who you want to be, I think, out in front because of their unique way of taking this identity. We'll see, though, if it makes it work. This time, Scandir was a little sloppy, but the cube strikes again. Feed feasting on the inanimate object. Not what you want to see unless you're a fan of alternate attacks. And, well, that's not what you want to see if you're a fan of them either. Everyone bonking and bumping. It will be a round win for the team in blue. Not a clean finish, but a win's a win nonetheless.
Yep, it is 5-1 as Feed uses this time to quickly get a bit of practice in, you know. And that's a cube. That is not a cube. So, you know, not a 50-50. Cube or not cube? That is the question on pool. We will leave the players to ponder on that one for the next round. And we'll see how things go. Also, I see some people asking for stats from previous stages. I would strongly recommend, if somebody has a link to the eCircuit Trackmania, the Pick'ems website, it has all of the stats from the previous stages as well. All-Stars, Challenger League, Grand League, Stage 1, all the maps. So if somebody can be nice enough to link that as well, definitely a good source of information for that one as well. But of course, for now, we see that Scandir is the one that's giving us the POV, and everybody again in a similar position as last time.
Yeah, everyone's just super tight and bunched together, but kind of is the nature of pool sometimes. It so frequently comes down to those final four corners, and expectation is will be the same here. Granted, HOMYNO TSUN, they need a strong result, otherwise this fourth track is going to quickly get out of reach for them. And with Scandir back in P4, it could be that start they're looking for. Into the identity we go, and Air making that deep line actually work, has caught up to Wosile, now finds himself in P1, but here comes alternate attacks. The two of them nearly sniped first place away, instead towards the back. It looked like Wosile may have tapped the cube, but they still get the snipe at the end, and it's another round going to alternate attacks.
That is a proper ain't no way moment. Enner gets a very rough transition towards the last section there, and it allows for Wosile to just, you know, waddle his way, you know, skedaddle his way to third position comfortably, and that is a 7-2. And it's looking a lot more worse than it did the first time around when we were on pool. Definitely alternate attacks are not in a happy place. They see that they are not in the lead of this match. They're gonna see that they gave those 2 points away, and they're now gonna just do exactly the same thing they did to Exalti. Just gonna 4-2 this, it seems like. But and it seems that Feed is more than happy to do so for them, as they are in an ace position and looking to close this out in 4 rounds.
Yeah, this has been a massacre at the pool. Bit of a one-sided affair. Alternate attacks and very easily put this one away. That said, Enner could be looking to play spoiler. Just needs to keep the 4 wheels on the ground, not have that moment again through the transition. They've already found one, so hope still alive. If they can find the second, if they can force a draw, that'd be fantastic. Wosile, though, too quick through the final corner. So another round victory goes to alternate attacks, now 1 point away from tying up this set.
Yeah, and even if HOMYNO TSUN gets 2 aces in a row, that is going to be simply a 9-0 for them. So they cannot, first of all, make any mistake. 2, need to get 2 aces. And 3, then after that, still win another round. And after Skandir has a bit of a starting incident, I mean, there's at least some of the half of the box has been ticked for HOMYNO TSUN. They now need to hope that Vosal does the other part.
Yeah, we'll see. Can they keep it together? Can they piece that small bit of the miracle run? I mean, Skandir, definitely not the start they were looking for, so it is all on one style, but as long as they stay ahead of 1, it's all well and good. At the moment, not the case. Has to keep the pressure on, has to force the mistake from the HOMYNO TSUN side as they gear their way through these corners, getting close to that identity. HOMYNO TSUN, they're actually pulling further and further ahead.
Yeah, it's looking rather good for them, but we can always rely on the cube to have a bit of fun here. Let's see, can Vosal go for this? Of course, he might be able to overtake Enner here because Enner goes for his line. But, but that is a bit too ambitious for Vosal. He was pushing it. He was sending it, but went a bit too close to the wall and allows for HOMYNO TSUN to get 1 ace on the board. A decent time as well, 0.4 for feed as well. So that is 1 ace ticked, and they need 1 more to at least give us to a tied position. So it seems that HOMYNO TSUN is not calling it over just yet.
Yeah, 1 down, 1 to go, right? Just do it again. It's that simple, some might say. I'm not going to be one of them, though. I feel like alternate attacks had an uncharacteristically bad round. The final point is always the hardest, but when you have as much of a gap as you have, you think eventually someone's going to be able to bring it back. Well, in this situation, Vosal, not the good start they were hoping for, so the hopes of alternate attacks, it falls down onto Skandir, who takes a very nice line into the mini identity. They're able to get 1 position just like that, and they're starting to fall further back. Feed as well, being run down, and pressure back on the team in red. Enner is going to have to come up huge on the second half of this track.
Yeah, that is indeed the case, and we know already that Enner's approach into the identity is going to lose him a bit of time. So ideally, you know, if you wanted to swap teammates around, you would want that Enner is there and then Reed is back there, that he can do a comeback. But we'll have to wait and see. It's still possible, and Skandir really needs to push this. He cannot afford for Enner to overtake here. Feed, of course, also needs to send it, and Feed also is going to do it. Skandir hits the wall, and it's actually happening. HOMYNO TSUN are doing the impossible, 2 aces in a row. Will they be able to snatch the victory right in front of alternate attacks' face? 2 boxes have been ticked. Will they get the 3rd, Max? Will they get it?
We're no waying. I mean, this is turned into the ain't no way map once again. I'm starting to understand why everyone says I'm crazy when I'm like, no, off-road is the heartbreak map. No, it clearly is pools. You were right. Everyone else was right, because alternate attacks has put themselves in a position where they can let this slip away. But at that same token, HOMYNO TSUN, if they get this close and let this one slip as well, that would be their own small disaster. Either way, this round takes it. Unless, of course, it's a draw. That's a bonk. That's a big-time bonk. Skandir all the way back deep into P4 right now. This is that moment for HOMYNO TSUN to go to set point.
Are they actually gonna do it? Are HOMYNO TSUN gonna do the unthinkable, taking a 3rd map point from alternate attacks? It's all up to Vosal. He can only hope for a draw here, unless one of the people make mistakes. Skandir is not too far behind. Okay, he hit the reactor, never mind. But Vosal is the one attacking. It's Feed and Vosal. They're gonna go to the line.
Close.
Vosal has much more speed, and Vosal holds it in the end. He does it when it matters. We go to overtime on pool, and it's the first. Well, we'll see how long this will go here, because pool can be a draw magnet, to be honest.
It really can, and I was calling for a long overtime. This could be that moment, man. This could be the one. Back and forth again. It feels like this track, more so than any of the others we've seen, is going to be so determinal and what happens moving forward right now. HOMYNO TSUN with 3 chances to win the set against alternate attacks would be massive. At that same token, they drop it here. You got to feel like it'll only be a matter of time before alternate attacks can put it away. But right now, out of that first mini identity, that's a bonk from Skandir, and again, HOMYNO TSUN in position to take it.
Yeah, but it's again the same man to thwart their plans. It is Vosal who has to do it again, twice in a row. and he cannot afford any mistakes. And this time Skandir is way further behind, so even if one of the HOMYNO TSUN members do make a mistake, he cannot really rely on his teammate to catch up on this. But if there's one man to do it, it is Vosal, and it seems he's up to the task. He does clip the corner. Enner is too far behind as well, and Vosal holds the front, keeps alternate attacks going. And now you gotta start thinking, when is it a matter of time until Skandir is in the mix as well?
Yeah, it won't be too long. But at that same token, I mean, these overtimes, they build. I'm still waiting. When does the cube get involved? I feel like the cube is going to be the make or breaking artifact, right? The cube is who decides who wins and who loses this round. Yeah, but praise be to the cube.
Yeah, praise be to the cube. But then again, you think of Vosa. Man has been putting 2 rounds in with 0.4s, which is really good given how much pressure he has been in the last 2 rounds. So it is, again, you know, you just don't know. Skandir this time does make the corner barely. That's probably pixels away from going against the wall again. But it's Vosal to clip the corner, so now it's Skandir, the one. How long can alternate attacks keep this run going? They have to do it now 3 times in a row in order to avoid absolute disaster. Can Skandir be the one to do it as well?
I mean, just barely avoided the cube. Stays right with it, and Wasal's actually not that far behind. A little bit of a bonk, it looked like, from Feed. Enir is going to have to hold P1 with those strange angles. They lose so much speed. Here comes Skandir. They take the lead, but further back, Wasal wasn't able to make the catch, and again, we hit another overtime.
They just don't want this to end, Max. They want to keep us going. It's a 12-12. How we're in double-digit rounds. This is round number 10 now, so how long are we going to do this now for? I mean, at this point, I feel like as both teams, are probably very annoyed with themselves. First of all, alternate attacks have been putting themselves in a position where it's been either draw or bust for them, and HOMYNO TSUN are being like, come on, man, we're so close, just give us that track points, for the love of God, just crash into a pole or wall or whatever comes in your way. But alternate attacks are just not giving up, and they are now everybody in the mix. So could this be the round where we decide the men from the boys? Let's see which one has the bigger balls to take it to the next track, or another draw. We never.
I mean, again, in the cube we trust, right? I feel like the cube could be the decider here as we go into the identity. Wasal hits the cube! Wasal got cubed. It's not the traditional one, but Ender also chokes on that first turn and finds himself further behind. That means Wasal is going to try and go neck and neck. Meanwhile, out in front, Feed has pulled away from Skandir, and guess what? It's another tie.
It's the other way around this time. No, they cannot catch a break. I mean, Feed actually gets first position, and then it's like, Mochek, Enner? Enner, oh no, no. So we go again, 13-13. How far do we take this? This could be potential for being soon one of the longest point totals, I feel like. I don't know what the actual record for Challenger League is. I feel like it cannot be really higher than like 15, 13, for example, as a score. So, I mean, if anybody can quickly fact check that or something, or knows about it out of the top of their head, I mean, props to you. But this is proving to be one of the longest sessions on Challenger League, I feel like.
I mean, I'm trying to do quick research into it right now, right? I'm trying to find what I can, but we'll kind of adjust that as we go. It definitely seems like it could be the longest of this season at this stage, as well, we'll see how long it lasts. At the moment, it's actually looking pretty good for HOMYNO TSUN. That said, Skandir's not that far behind. Everyone avoids the cube the first time around. We change positions up. Skandir's going to have to catch it in there. Wasal, though, bonks off the wall, and now HOMYNO TSUN has a chance. They cube it as well! The cube strikes again, and we draw one more time!
Oh my goodness. How long are we gonna do this for? I feel like at this point, one of these players is just gonna get so fed up with this map that they're just gonna be, you know what? Screw it. I'm done. I'm out. I can't be bothered with this anymore. It's 14-14, and we're looking to get... well, we're definitely getting our money's worth here today, Max. It's 12 rounds.
Easy dream.
At this point, you know, good luck to them. There's nothing more I can say at this point. There's nothing really they can do. It's gonna be a mental game at this point. Who's really just gonna pull their way till the very end.
It was BS Plus versus Izzy Dream. That went 13-13.
I mean, we're already shattered that part. That's easy.
Oh yeah,
Was there anything in stage 1? Perhaps? I don't even know. But it seems
I'm sorry,
that
they went 12-12. They
for
didn't even go 13-13. They went 12-12. So like, yeah, like this is even more. And guess what? We're in a draw position again right now, going into the identity. But
surely, finally, we can conclude this map, right? No? Maybe?
Oh boy, maybe. Actually, it looks good for alternate attacks. Feed has to be the one who stays in front, but it holds on to that line all in these final turns. Scandir is going to go super, super deep. Lost out behind. They're not going to get it. It's another draw.
15-15 with Koken. These times are even good as well. They're not slow. They're just they're going for this one. Oh my god. I'm struggling to keep this thing alive. This is slowly becoming, you know, beating a dead horse at this point. You know, it's just somebody, come on, just get it done. It cannot be that difficult, but at this point, we're just gonna get another Trolla. The current real record for rounds, you know, was from NCSA Regional Stage 1 with 17-20. If we go 2 more rounds, we will for sure most likely get a new record in the tournament. But for now, it's looking at least possible that HOMYNO TSUN maybe, just maybe, will be able to do this. But you know, it's the end. I mean, you might as well toss some dice at this point.
You know what else is that dice are shaped? They're shaped as cubes.
Oh,
in Cube we trust. In Cube we go again. I mean, at this stage, alternate attacks is kind of hoping for a bit of Cube action right now. Everyone avoids the first one. Anir, though, could be getting run down from Scandir. Wassail has found their way back in P1, so Scandir is the one who's going to have to make the catch. But Wassail cubes it, and that's going to do it. HOMYNO TSUN finally get it done in 13 rounds. They go to set point.
15-18. They finally do it. I mean, it's the new... I'm pretty sure it's a new record for Challenger League. I don't remember any team going to this extent to win a map, but fair play to HOMYNO TSUN. And now they go on to Grip as well. Holy moly, what a match. That has to go down as the most nail-biting match I've seen so far. Just draw, and finally, I mean... That's a huge sigh of relief for HOMYNO TSUN. I mean, they're going to go on to Grip. Granted, it's going to be quite a struggle, but I'm going to question the fatigue at this point. They've been going on that map for a very long time at this point. So, yeah, it's going to be a bit tough now, I think.
At that same token, though, for alternate attacks, right, they also would feel that same fatigue. This is the first time they've given up 3 tracks in a set. This is the first time they've been down like this. There's a lot of firsts happening in a negative way right now for alternate attacks, and they have to bounce back after going 13 rounds. Like, I'm worried for both these teams. Granted, last time Grip did go pretty heavily favored for that alternate attack side, so we'll see if this is the kind of track where they can get that momentum back in their favor. But as it stands right now, HOMYNO TSUN, they have a chance to take us to a tie-breaking round, which would be absolutely insane.
Yep, now it's basically map 7 or bust for alternate attacks. They cannot falter on any of the upcoming maps. So it means if alternate attacks gets all of this, we will go on Grip. We have Grip now, we have Sinuous and Control on the chopping block as well. And we see Vosa makes an early mistake and Feed is even further behind. So sort of Inner has to take it from Scandir, and it seems that the confidence is a lot more with HOMYNO TSUN. You see, Scandir is not really doing the usual full speed here, but he's gonna be able to hold on just enough to secure a victory for alternate attacks. But you gotta feel at the moment that after such a content on pool, how willing are you willing to push this time? Because, you know, you are now on a nice edge. One mistake, HOMYNO TSUN take the set, and we go to our best of 1, which is insane.
Yeah, a best of 1 would be something I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they would handle it. I'm not sure how alternate attacks would be able to mentally prepare for something like that. HOMYNO TSUN right now, it feels like all the momentum has been in their favor, although they did lose that first round. Feed had an uncharacteristically bad showing in round 1, and I don't expect that to be a reoccurring trend, so see how they play this out. I also love the fact, like, going back to pool 1 last time, you have to remember, Wednesday he was 3-9.
Yep.
And HOMYNO TSUN was able to tie it, then take us into all those overtimes. Like, that is such a strong effort. And, you know, tactical timeout buffs I question whether or not they should have done it before pool. Clearly, that was the right call, man.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that probably has to go down as the biggest comeback we've seen for Challenger, at least map-wise. Sprout still hold the comeback from coming from 3-0 against HOMYNO TSUN in the previous stage and winning 4-3, but on a single map, that has to be probably HOMYNO TSUN's biggest comeback, if not the best comeback on a single track. And we see at the moment Feed overtaking both of the members. Wow. Almost missed that in the end, but it is a draw, and alternate aTTaX, well, keep the lead, but just barely.
Yeah, just a nice little kind of comeback right there. So HOMYNO TSUN stays within striking distance thanks to that late lunge from Feed. Alternate aTTaX, though, again, the consistency is showing its face again right now, these two. They drive so close together on this track. They look so in sync, and more importantly, not making those mistakes that we saw a little bit out of the HOMYNO TSUN side. It's why this is kind of a tough track to kind of beat alternate aTTaX on, and why I think if HOMYNO TSUN is going to kind of get that reset, we might be looking ahead to the next one. But then again, said the similar things about Pool. We all saw how that went, so who really knows as we keep going. But I do know is I actually would be really curious to sort of see, you know, the likes of a Sinuous come out between these two.
Well, we have to wait and see how things will go, as currently at the moment Feed is the man to deny points from alternate aTTaX. It is currently a draw position, so if Feed can get this one done, then it's gonna be looking good. That is a pole. That is looking to be an ace, and it seems that Grip is still not the map for HOMYNO TSUN, as it is an ace for alternate aTTaX.
Yeah, they're continuing to struggle this time around, so HOMYNO TSUN continues to kind of struggle on this track in particular. Alternate aTTaX at least 2 rounds away from taking a set back, and as they continue just kind of marching along, I get more and more worried, you know. How do you bounce back mentally even then? Like after that crazy pool coming into this, if you find yourself just getting blasted back down, it could be a little deflation of the sails. So I hopefully see HOMYNO TSUN come back in this one a bit. Instead, though, it's Wassail with a bit of a bonk, and that's a problem for alternate aTTaX.
Yes, indeed, because the last thing you want is for that nice lead that you have accumulated all of a sudden to vanish from an ace for HOMYNO TSUN. Granted, it is Skandir up front still, so he's looking to be in the position to thwart some points up front and keep us to a draw, and then keep alternate aTTaX to a track point. Even if he gets second position, that would at least put them in an ace position to take the track point here. But he still has to execute. So far he has been quite infallible here, and it is basically HOMYNO TSUN. They just have to go for it, you know. What do you really got to lose, you know? If Skandir's gonna get it clean, you might as well just send it. Weed has a bit of a wobble there, and Enner, well, he tries it, but Skandir is not gonna give an inch. Good time as well, 0.6. It is relatively close to the Challenger League record, but far away, still away from the world record by.
Yeah, I mean, no one's... I don't see the world record being broken right now. I could be wrong. Sometimes, you know, pressure does make diamonds out of these players, but you can see the pressure affecting them in some very odd moments at times. So hopefully we'll get some clean runs right here, especially for HOMYNO TSUN right now. An ace means we go to track 6. We go to Sinuous. They can still bring it back. You can never count them out, especially for what we saw before. But alternate aTTaX, they just look so much more confident on this track. It feels like Skandir is so far forward already, about a car's length ahead of Feed. Wassail as well has the position over the top of Enner, and I mean, this would get them 1 point away, but they want the ace. Wassail may push too hard, got a little bit of a bonk, and that gives up P3.
Indeed it does. It's again Skandir to be the man up front, but it is Feed who has a bit of a slight advantage this time around. So unless Skandir is willing to push this, it should be something to at least get a point for alternate aTTaX, and it seems it is getting rather close. Enner is slowly catching up, but Skandir absolutely goes for it and absolutely roasts Feed on the line. That was the cleanest execution of that segment as you possibly can. He really tested the limits there. I think 1 km/h too fast and he would have absolutely flown off that segment there.
That was so clean. Alternate aTTaX, again, the confidence they have on this track in particular, just keeping them in that spot now. 1 round win away. Things looking a little bit similar as Wassail has a good landing. It was actually Skandir who had a bit of a moment. They had to reset, so they're going to find themselves out. A chance now for HOMYNO TSUN to get back in it.
Yeah, but that's been the chance for the last few rounds, but it's been Skandir to thwart them. But it is now Wosal who has to actually do it. But Wosal not feeling maybe as confident. He did have a bit of a interesting line into the ice section. And now, well, if it is going to be an ace for HOMYNO TSUN, I mean, 8-7 doesn't look as comfortable as 8-4. I don't need to be a mathematician, but 8-4 looks a lot better than 8-7. So now let's see if Wosal is able to do something in the end, because at the moment, I mean, HOMYNO TSUN, oh,
Nope.
I feel like there was a chance. Feed had a moment there, but so did Wosal. So it is an ace, 8-7, and I mean, it's track point, but it's also match point, and a possible best of one to come.
Oh boy, HOMYNO TSUN, one ace away from taking us to a deciding map. Track point both ways. I mean, there's a world. We go 9-9 again. There's
a
world.
Not another overtime.
We run it back.
Oh, God forbid, please. No, we just did it on pool. We don't need it again. we need some energy for the end. Feed is absolutely out of it. So, it does mean that Enner needs to get first position. Otherwise, alternate text to take this. So, all eyes on Enner. Can he overtake Scandir? That is the only way we keep this match alive. And it will go then to 9-8. But currently, as it stands, I mean, Scandir has been the one to really push the limits on this identity. So, Enner, I mean, good luck. That's the best I can wish you.
I mean, it needs to be perfect, right? It needs to be the most awesome identity run, and we're already halfway through, and Enner has already lost a bit of momentum. That's going to do it. Scandir will cross the line in first, and unless, well, we saw something absolutely crazy, which we didn't, it was going to be it. So, alternate attacks, they take track number 5. They take us to Sinuous, and HOMYNO TSUN has 2 more chances to go to the tiebreak round.
Yeah, again, a bit more, not as convincing as they would have loved it to be, but we are going into Sinuous, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if I had to choose a team that is good on Sinuous, mine goes more to alternate attacks than HOMYNO TSUN, but hey, well, correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
Oh, that's right. I actually have to bring up the stats now because we haven't been here yet. Let's go. Let's do it. Where are you, Sinuous? What have we got? What magic do you have to tell me? Well, I will say this: alternate attacks, 1 for 1. They got it done. But at the same time, HOMYNO TSUN 2 for 2. So I guess HOMYNO TSUN maybe a little bit better in that regards because they have a little bit more experience. And Feed has the faster time than Scandir. So we'll be curious to see if that does all piece together in for a round win. Again, this is their chance to go to the decider. Otherwise, we go to that random map, and I'm not sure HOMYNO TSUN wants to do that.
Well, indeed. And now the question is, we do have a very, fallible time at the top. And I feel like if there's any 2 teams that can really full send this and really go for this time, it is these 2. Granted, Feed doesn't have the best start to this, but we haven't seen Sinuous, of course, throughout the entire day, apart from Exalti and Sprout. Really enjoyed it, but this is the first time for these players to be on Sinuous. So now let's see how things will go. Scandir is already doing his own thing. Enner doing his own thing as well. It seems alternate attacks looking to take this rather comfortably.
Yeah, this is a very clean-looking performance right now from the alternate attack side. Granted, Wosal almost popped the checkpoint as well, so not the cleanest showing from everyone except for Scandir. I feel like, I guess they could be maybe a little bit happy with their final result, but up the identity, it all goes to them, and continuing that momentum from the last round, alternate attacks off to that hot start.
Yep, only 700s away from the Challenger League record, so clearly, as I said, if there is any 2 teams that can take this time down, it is these 2 at the moment. So let's see if they can give it another shot. But for HOMYNO TSUN, it doesn't matter what time that top part says. As long as it is a victory for them, then it is going to be perfect indeed. But for now, we'll have to wait and see, as currently Feed is in front. Enner, a bit of a rougher start at the moment. We'll have to wait and see at the moment. Wosal and Scandir definitely taking the lead on this map. Feed is the one to deny, but with a better line for alternate attacks, they are looking to be a lot more comfortable here. Enner, again, not really getting the match going here, or not getting the start they wanted. The only good start at the moment is for alternate attacks, so they have to get this one done. Of course, this ice, if you go too close to the checkpoint, you can have a bit of a rougher time here. But it seems that Feed at least overtakes Scandir. That is one job done, but can Enner also do something? Nah, it's a bit too far. I feel like if anything, Feed, if he gets a good end here, he might be able to overtake Vosal here, but that is not going to be enough. It is a victory for alternate attacks, and it is a 5-1 indeed. And let's take a look here at the moment. Modcheck Max, let's see if the man is here. He had to quickly run away for a quick break. Modcheck? Oh, let's see. Oh, just in time as well. Just as about I was to do a quick mic check, he's back in action. Welcome back.
We're good. Yeah, no, I was never gone. I don't know what you're talking about. Apologies for that. But look, I took that hydration a little too seriously. All right, like
we've been drinking a lot of water. Let's see. Hydration is key, though.
It's insane, and yeah, it's important to drink that water, just like it's important for HOMYNO TSUN to try and get themselves back in this one right now. Enner wanted the inside line, doesn't quite find it. As I look to stay with something right now into the more icy section again. This landing has thrown so many drivers off, but this time, everyone looks clean.
Yeah, indeed so. We'll see how this one goes. Of course, again, alternate attacks are the ones to be in the lead. And usually this identity doesn't really lend itself to much. If your exit is better, Feed is contesting Scandir, but not enough. Not quite enough. There is a time to gain, but 8,000s needed to be more for that one. 7-2, and we are ever so edging closer to control. I mean, HOMYNO TSUN did get that 3-1 lead, but the later maps I still feel like favor more alternate attacks than HOMYNO TSUN. So to be expected that this is the way it's going. But I have no idea what is going to happen on control, but it feels like a map that alternate attacks can take. But again, HOMYNO TSUN like to make this a lot more complicated than it needs to be for alternate attacks, so who knows what will happen still.
I mean, it seems like HOMYNO TSUN just pulls out random aces when their back is against the wall. The team has been so good at coming up clutch. Granted, some of it, I have to say, has been alternate attacks, maybe struggling a little bit more. The pressure of the playoffs, it does get to you at times. Here we go into the ice. Enner, that line good enough to take third place right on back as Feed and Vosal fight for P1. Feed seems to be that little bit ahead, and Enner has the momentum to possibly catch Vosal as well. Scandir goes off. Vosal goes way off, and we're talking about aces from out of nowhere. This could be it. Once again, a chance to get back within 2, up the identity, and it goes to HOMYNO TSUN.
Yep, but Enner has a moment, had to respawn, and gives away the ace. He has a bit of a moment. Yet, indeed, the camera angle doesn't lend itself to be quite virtuous there. So it's very hard to see if somebody does make a mistake there. I know there is a way to change that camera. I've tried it. Doesn't work for me for some reason. So, you know, we take what we can. And for now, at least, we see that Enner, I mean, it was a potential ace, but now they have to work for a bit more there. As we do have to see how it goes for them, as Feed does trail a bit behind. And now that ace, you know, would have been quite nicer, you know. Would have been quite nice given how the round is panning out right now.
Yeah, it feels like they needed it. However, Scandir, very awkward landing, actually loses a fair bit of position. So Enner versus Vosal perhaps to end this one out, although Scandir does have a bit of momentum. They're able to make up some of that ground as we make our way down and around the ice section. Feed has to find a way to get in front of Scandir. Enner also has to get in front of Vosal. One of these need to break right now, and Feed has to readjust. They really wanted that tight line. Does the speed get them in front? Can Enner find the play on Vosal? The answer to both these questions, it's gonna be no. Alternate attacks take us to track 7.
What a way to decide this series. We go in the best of 7 to map number 7. And it is anybody's game now. It is going to be control as well. And well, what a way to end it. It is, I mean, I will say this as well as always, control, one of my favorite maps to spectate and to watch. Whether it will be the same for these teams, we will have to wait and see. But now it is basically either alternate text takes a 2-0 or HOMYNO TSUN will take us to a best 1. Feels like quite a similar case what happened to Exalti and Sprout. Quite of a similar tale. But it is a tactical timeout as well by one of the teams here. Maybe I can quickly check here as well. It seems HOMYNO TSUN were the one to take this tactical timeout. Again, they seem to be the ones using it. So, I mean, it is a good time to take. You just went 2 maps, you're on control, you know, may the best team win at this point. I mean, what else are you gonna say? You know, it's they've grinded their way through one of the most insane rounds on pool that HOMYNO TSUN probably have ever driven to come back against alternate aTTaX of all teams as well. So there isn't really much to say, to be honest. I mean, you know, calm your team down, make sure they're in the right mental setting, and you know, just send it, go for it, and see what sticks.
We'll see if they can piece it together, but I mean, this is very nerve-wracking because again, HOMYNO TSUN, even if they find a way to take this track, the job's only halfway done from this point. They're going to have to win 2 in a row, as they will have that decider. Alternate aTTaX, though, it does feel like they've gotten that momentum back, but the crazy thing, Control, not been a good track for either of these teams, to be quite honest. HOMYNO TSUN, like, they've struggled that little bit more. They've only found 1 win on this track coming into this day. Alternate aTTaX, they've only found 2, 2 and 4 versus that sort of 1-5 record. So neither of these teams really historically have been that great here, but who knows? Again, maybe HOMYNO TSUN was cooking something, as a couple drivers have already bonked their way out of this first round.
Yeah, Vosal goes for a respawn, which will lend him to more speed, but Enner does get it cleanly enough that he's very much ahead. So it is Feed and Scandir up in front, and I mean, if there is any style that would fit Scandir, it would be this type of map. Man is a very good, now people can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe Scandir is a very good RPG player as well, so it does feel like a Man would do quite well. And Man enjoys a lot of khaki as well, and with a 1.010.4 to start him off as well, I mean, it's gonna be one of those hard matches. I feel like for HOMYNO TSUN, they have to sort of start matching that pace immediately.
Yeah, that they do. It was a good start, but it also was a draw. And I mean, HOMYNO TSUN did what they did. It was a clean run for them. Wasile was the one who got a little bit awkward, as we saw at sort of the mini identity on the way leading into it. Still going to be chances for them to come back, but as we make our way through the early stages, you can see everyone's so tight together. It's not until you get to this little transition right here where you'll start to see some separation between the teams, especially if anyone has to ease up. Not the case this time around initially, but we do see alternate aTTaX slowly creeping forward.
I mean, they do tend to take the early lead here, but it is the second half where, first of all, this entry can make a big difference. For Vosal, it is now twice in a row the same situation. Hits the bobsleigh, goes a bit too low on the entry. And again, Scandir the one to deny this one if he can hold off the 2 members of HOMYNO TSUN and do a classic alternate aTTaX where they get first position and they just drag this match out until they get something on the board.
Yeah, we'll see if that's going to be the case. Right now, into the identity we go. It is Feet going to be trying to find that line because Enner has fallen perhaps a little bit too far back. Scandir, though, that little bit lower, and as we've seen, going low is that faster push, although the landing got a little dicey, not dicey enough. 2 draws in a row. As alternate aTTaX and HOMYNO TSUN, 3-3 scoreline. We're going blow for blow, 1 each again and again. This is about as perfect of a final set as you would like.
Well, it seems that it is calling. Another overtime is looming in the distance, but we are very early into this one. It has been 2 rounds, it has been 2 draws, but I feel like it's only a matter of time if once one of these teams will get the upper hand here. And it has been more, I would say, looking to be alternate aTTaX than HOMYNO TSUN. But then again, I mean, they're just actually, again, neck and neck, same thing, but Feet has a bit of a lapse in judgment, hits the tree or the corner on the downhill there, and now gives a perfect position to alternate aTTaX to take this ace of this track. But it is now Enner who has to just send it, because at the moment that blue name tag is getting ever so further away as the track evolves towards the identity.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to these final jumps. What does Enner have? What can they bring? Wasile and Scandir, they stay toe-to-toe. They land at pretty much the exact same time. This could be a massive time from Scandir, the way how things are looking out. Keep it clean through the second jump. Wasile actually gets lovely. Wasile bottles the landing, and Enner won't save the round, but will save the ace. A 10.5, meanwhile, for Scandir's strong time, but finally alternate aTTaX break the draws.
I mean, that is that's gonna be just, you know, if you're in HOMYNO TSUN position, you're like, okay, we'll take it. that's the best we're gonna do in that part. I mean, that could have been moments away from disaster. Whether it will carry on to the next rounds, we'll have to wait and see. HOMYNO TSUN, of course, would like to find a bit more success on this track. Whether they will, whether alternate attacks are willing to play along and give them that chance is another story. As everybody is currently just knows that they have to push the limits. There's just no way you can really let up, because we can see all of these players can do some good times. One little moment and you are already half a second behind or more, and that's basically your round concluded.
Yeah, what can Skandir do in this situation with the rounds kind of struggling further and further back for HOMYNO TSUN right now? Feed is the one who's going to have a better chance, you think, of catching, but Wassail kind of slowed through those beams. Nearly allows Ender to catch up. Everyone equalizes the speed once again, so still an advantage going to alternate attacks, but we haven't really seen everyone land through this identity clean yet. Wassail does not have the speed that Ender has. That could be a catch, but no, Ender bonks it. They give up the chance to again draw the round, so alternate attacks now, they get a 2-point lead over HOMYNO TSUN.
I'm gonna be honest, seeing how consistently Skandir is driving these times, it's rather worrisome. Skandir has been doing 0.4, 0.7, 0.6, 0.4. Man is really making sure HOMYNO TSUN have to literally drive close to perfection in order to take his position here, and I mean, what are you gonna do about that? I mean, you drive close to world record times, Wassail hits the corner, so it is against Skandir. But Ender and Wassail both having struggle on the landing, so Feed and Skandir, I mean, it is a duo to give us another show here.
Well, Wassail's completely out of this one, and actually, it's also completely out of what is happening in the back. Forget that. I'm looking ahead. I'm looking at this fight for first, because that's where, you know, the skill happens to be, at least in this round 5 right now. Skandir just barely holding on Feed, trying to stay with it, and it has a bit more speed through the beams. They're neck and neck, toe for toe, gearing up for that identity. Feed, in fact, even has that little bit of the lead, but Skandir will stay right with them. Has fallen a little bit behind. Expect them to go for the lower line. Feed's also going to have to try to risk it, but look at Skandir go! It doesn't get much more perfect than that. Enough to snipe it away by 7,000ths of a second.
I mean, man has balls of steel for going such a jump, because if he had failed, he might have given a chance for Ender to come in, but that could be the crucial round to make the difference here. Instead of it being a 1-point difference between the teams, it is now still 2. I mean, Skandir is really driving in the pressure at the moment. He's really not faltering at the moment, and that just puts HOMYNO TSUN in a much more precarious position. And now with the match point as well, alternate attacks are looking to take this ace, and I mean, this is at the moment Skandir's show. This is basically his match to lose. I mean, Wassail is trying his best to keep up, but what is HOMYNO TSUN supposed to do, man? Oh, clips, but doesn't really do much to him, but he's still in the mix, so what are you gonna do?
Win.
I mean, win would be nice, yes.
Gotta dig deep. You gotta take those same risks, I suppose. I mean, at the moment, a draw still keeps them in it. They're not getting an ace just yet, but Skandir, as we know, is so good. And goodbye, Feed, off the side of the balance beam. And now so much pressure on Anir to stay ahead of Skandir, who's been looking so good into this identity. Skandir may have just found that line. They've taken P2, and Ace secures it. Alternate attacks, they're pulling away. Anir just doesn't have the speed, and the attack continues. Their most trialing challenge yet, and they still stand on top. Our first team in the grand final, it's alternate attacks.
If you had told me that alternate attacks and HOMYNO TSUN would be the match to give us the most drama in the end, I would have said you're mad. But today it seems it shows that HOMYNO TSUN, I mean, if anything, that is a promising sign for the teams that are still up and coming. Alternate attacks had to sweat profusely to just get through that. That couldn't have gotten any closer, but in the end Skandir was sort of the MVP on that control. Like, he just didn't give a care, just went for it, sent it, done, boom shakalaka, they are in the grand final. But what a set of matches. I mean, we got entertainment and a half, so if you didn't enjoy these matches, think about what we have to still to come as well, and this is only day 1. Next week, day 2.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy. And not to mention, BS Plus as well as the Orcs, like they're going to be like trying to sneak in a cheeky little series as well somewhere during the week. So do make sure you kind of keep following that. Again, that's why I'm here. Apparently the BS Plus expert. You bring me in and they're not even playing fair enough. But like it is going to be, it's definitely going to be exciting. And I mean, I'm pretty sure alternate attacks, they showed us today they can bleed a bit, not lose, but they can bleed. That pool series is going to be a memorable one.
Yeah, that is indeed, that it gets a certified cool moment right there. If I had my sunglasses on the table, I could do the cool moment. But for you, do it in real life. It is indeed cool. I mean, that is one of the ways to get an interesting pool. It has to go down as one of the tracks of this season, to be honest. Like, it's the mental fortitude to go for that, and at the end, of course, it's bittersweet, given that alternate attacks does get it in the end. But I mean, you gotta look at positives, and that map definitely shows that everybody has a chance this time. Alternate attacks might not be as easy running as it has been throughout this entire season, to be honest.
I think it's going to be a bumpy ending. I think it's going to be, a finals they're going to fight for. Because if we learned anything, nerves got to them. I think that was the most unforced errors we've ever seen from this team to date. So, like, we saw it get to them at times. And that pressure is only going to mount when you get to that grand final. So if you aren't following along already, do make sure you go ahead and get keen. I mean, well, we'll see. We'll see how it happens. Although I'm also kind of curious as well. Do we see a surprise team kind of make their way through that lower bracket? I mean, we're kind of under the assumption maybe, oh yeah, HOMYNO TSUN, they look good. They're going to be right back in that grand final. Sprout looks strong today as well. I don't want to write them out yet.
They were finalists last time, so maybe they just want to make it a bit more challenging for them to get there. But either way, I feel like this is a perfect opportunity to close out for today. Best part is, tomorrow there's even more action, so you're not gonna get away from Trackmania that easily. Either way, thank you all for joining us as well. Thank you for everybody for being here and getting a taste of some of the best action we've seen in Challenger League to date. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Max, for being a great man on the board, giving us all the stats and giving us the cast to enjoy as well. And if anything, I get to enjoy a bit of bitch because, of course, I have to ignore the fact that I don't do the same mistake I did last time, that I don't wake up for the APAC Regional to cast it. So, gotta avoid, can't do it double. So, gotta go to early bitch and make sure I put on my alarms.
Just put it all on Gex. Gex can call it solo. Gex will be fine.
Gex will be fine. But either way, thank you for having anything, final words before we close this one out?
Yeah, you know what? Again, I meant what I said earlier in the stream, something about the Trackmania community. I know I cover a lot of esports, but something about this crew, as I make and fumble a lot of words, pronunciations, and English is a difficult language, but you guys, the only one that feels supportive all the time. It's why I love this game. It's why I love all of you watching along. So thank you so much for having me, and it's been a blast, man.
Yep, and with that, I think that's the first way to close it out. Either way, thank you once again. I'm sure all of you are thick and tired of a lot of stuff, but make sure to be there tomorrow. APAC Regional and EU Regional concludes, and of course, the final cake, the Grand League playoffs start as well. So, thank you all, and have a great weekend to come.